All right, everybody. Hi, welcome to day 3, Lead and Speed Nationals in Allez up in Montreal, Quebec. Third day, Speed Day.
C'est la vitesse aujourd'hui, Pete, puis on est bien heureux à aller up de voir ça. Encore beaucoup de personnes en grand nombre ici pour l'occasion. Alors, ça va être un moment pour voir qu'est-ce que les compétiteurs canadiens sont capables de faire sur un mur de 10 mètres.
Absolument. So the 10-meter wall is not standard. We don't have a lot of 15-meter walls in Canada, so we run our speed on 10 meters. Internationally, the standard is 15 meters, but the route is exactly the same up until that point. So we're going to run speed. We're going to go Youth A, Youth B, and Open today.
That's right.
And it's a race. So it's left versus right. And then we play down in a bracket. We take their times from qualification, and then we pair them off against each other. So we shot a couple of climbers on the speed route earlier so we can slow it down and show it to you because it happens so quickly, it's tough to see the beta, and there is technique to it. So if we can have a look, we'll show you what it looks like, and you can have a slower look at what the entire route looks like.
Yeah, and you were talking about technique, Pete. Speed necessitates risk-taking, it necessitates precision, and it demands, obviously, a lot of explosive power. So I think we're going to skip the video and go straight underway with our round of 16. So Lexi Binder versus Sonia Colliander.
And you got Lexi Binder taking that down sub 8 seconds. So under 8 seconds is good time. That's a really good time. We saw a couple of the UC athletes come under 8 seconds as well. So on that 10-meter wall, that's where we're at. And speed happens really, really fast.
Exactly. One slip and you're out, or just one element that hasn't been timed properly, and that's just not the time that perhaps you'd done in practice or back at your home wall. So you really need to really wake up, first of all, get ready to just pull out from the get-go.
Yeah, we're essentially we're sprinting at this point. So these athletes warm up like sprinters. They get a lot of adrenaline going. They get their heart rate up, sort of different from most of the other climbing events where you want to be measured. This is about getting it done in the shortest amount of time possible. Big pulls.
And Stephanie Chow versus Lestine Passion. Lestine getting it done in 8.31.
So what you see there is Stephanie Chow. You're trying to go as fast as you can. So imagine you're not looking at your feet ideally, right? You've memorized the sequences. You've done this over and over and over, so you're in muscle memory. However, you're trying to go as fast as possible. So when you're trying to go as fast as possible, you're pushing that envelope a little bit, and you're going to make mistakes. It's going to happen. You're going to sort of be a little bit more powerful. Maybe you've got a little extra adrenaline from your training runs. This is nationals after all, so maybe you've got more than you thought. You just sort of miss a foothold. You sort of slide off the side of one. And you sag onto your arms. So it's you've got to put it all on the line. You can't be cautious. If you're cautious, someone's just going to be faster than you. So you got to get out there and get it done full speed ahead.
Yeah, and the other factor that comes into play, Pete, is this has been a full weekend of climbing for these climbers. I mean, difficulty was yesterday. So a lot of these climbers had qualifiers on Saturday, did semis on Saturday, and then here we are. Actually, they had semis and finals yesterday on Sunday and today on Monday. Well, we've got this speed competition. So is there enough skin left in the game? Is there, are your muscles in the optimal, condition to be able to be pulling up and doing these times?
You got to hope so, right? This is as much training as you put in, as you say, when you're on the weekend. You've got to make sure that you've got enough in the tank, and you rarely, I think, these athletes would train all 3 disciplines over a weekend. It's the same. You run a marathon. You don't ever run a marathon distance in training. You just know that you've got it in you. So you just got to rely on maybe a little bit of tape and the reserves and see what you got there. And we saw Riley there just ahead of Mathilde, and Riley went straight up. There's a move at the top where you can go out right or you can dyno straight past it. So ideally, less left to right movement. You had a really good example there of Riley. It was pretty close until Riley made that dynamic movement straight up, and Mathilde had to go to the right. And then you're slowed down by almost one entire move. So there's absolutely optimal sequences. and watch their feet as much as you watch their hands.
So on the left, Aspen Hendry versus Sydney Hennessy.
This is close. This is really close.
Oh, and I think Sydney
Just got in front.
inches out.
And this is single elimination. So they run through the brackets. So during their qualifiers, they record their best time, and then you're seeded into the this round based on your time. So round of 16, 8, 4, and then we have the small final and the big final. So your time determines who you're up against, first versus 16th, and then your classic bracket all the way through. So the middle of the field that we're seeing here is going to be the closest in theory, because they're the ones whose times were closest to each other in that the middle of the pack, sort of 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th in there.
Yeah, and you see Babette Roy down at the left. She's sort of slapped her face.
Yeah.
You know, you need to wake up. You need to pull on and be really aggressive from the start.
And a really big, powerful move from Babette right at the beginning.
Yeah.
And way out in front. You see your skip.
And holds, and wow, 7.02.
That's a great time from Babette. She did that very clean, almost no slips. You see them smearing the wall. They're maybe wearing shoes that you wouldn't wear for boulder, and you wouldn't wear them for speed. They're maybe a little bit bigger. You're not wearing super downturn-toed shoes for your speed route.
No.
You see some of them wearing knee pads because you do hit your knees on the way up.
Yeah, I saw actually a couple of people wearing, you know, they're really old, worn out, you know, broken in, and sort of, you know, some of these shoes have holes in them. But that's what you're comfortable in.
Yep.
That's what you can really just step, you know, go quickly in. So whatever works.
I'm inclined to agree. I've never climbed the speed route at speed. I've climbed it slowly.
Yeah, sort of like enjoying the movement.
Not enjoying the movement. It's technically, and it's not really a beautiful climb. And
there's so many options, Pete.
There's so many options.
Holds, I mean, they're pretty much the same hold and same feet, you know, all the way up, just spun differently. And we've got Mina Lancaster versus Thea Chapman.
You saw Thea kind of double clutch that first big dynamic movement. And that put her behind and unable to catch up.
Yeah, Mina did really well.
Yeah, that's a good time.
Now we'll have Geneviève Phipps against Indiana Chapman.
So you'll notice there's a foot pad on the ground, and that's how they determine false starts and when your time starts. So you depress the foot pedal, and then as soon as your foot comes off of that, that's starting the clock for you. So obviously you want to get as quickly as possible from the buzzer to coming off, but you can also false start. So if you come off before that green light, before the third beep, now that's fast. You see that? Those last three moves, she's already moving her right hand when she's moving her left hand. Very efficient. We don't know where... Oh, Indiana Chapman, we got a note here, is injured. So she's elected not to climb in this round. But Geneviève still has to put a time down. That's how they determine if there's a tie or they need to count back somewhere. You need to have a time on the clock.
And, you know, this is a kind of what we're seeing with regards to Indiana Chapman being injured. I mean, she put out a big performance in finals yesterday for difficulty. And so it's not unheard of for athletes to skip out a discipline such as speed in a competition like this that has multiple disciplines in order to be able to prevent further injury, right?
Yeah, you don't want to get hurt doing speed if it's not your specialty, especially if your goal is to go compete at Youth Worlds in just a few months.
So just a quick note, our climber to the left, Aurélie Huppé, is the same climber who had a really scary fall yesterday here in the semifinals, and she looks like she's racing to the top, and just got beat by 0.5 of a second, I believe.
I think that's the length of the arm from Brielle. They were at the same place at the same time. So here's a good look. We're going to run the speed route in slow motion for you. So watch their feet Watch the way they're looking up the whole time. Kind of feet are moving as dynamically as their hands go up.
Yeah.
It's a very coordinated discipline.
That's right, and there have been different tactics that have been made that have enabled climbers to shave precious seconds off the clock. We can talk about, Reza Alipour, who's a reigning sort of world record holder at, I think it's 5.48 on the 15-meter wall. So that would, and we were talking about this earlier, but on a 10-meter wall like we've got in front of us, that would be the equivalent of climbing it in
three-ish seconds.
Three-ish seconds and
Yeah, and the start of the route is technically the most awkward, and a couple of these full-time speed climbers have developed beta and techniques that make it as quickly as possible. So the Reza method basically skips the first move. So it's a huge dynamic movement right off the bat. And then you'll see some of these climbers have a dyno in the middle to avoid going out right. So everybody's got something they prefer, but anybody that's tried to climb the speed route fast for the first time will tell you that the opening is quite awkward. You do need those feet off the bat. You got to go find them, and they're way out left. They're really high. So you watch the first sort of three moves play out very slowly, relatively speaking, and then these guys get into the rhythm and they bop, 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 and up to the top.
Exactly. And actually, Reza, I think he skips a hold that's higher up. But Tomo Narasaki, he grabs from the two starting holds, you grab the third one, and he mantles up and has a hand-foot match on that and jumps up.
Straight up.
And what that does, Pete, is that allows you to skip having to have your weight transfer out too much to the left, so you're always generating continuous upward movement. That being said, to execute that properly.
We just saw it on the left.
Right.
So Jackson McDonald in 4.2.
Oh, my God.
Over Mitchell Wong.
And, Jackson, no surprise that he qualified first in these semifinals. So
that was a perfect example. Watch it here.
Yeah.
Hand-foot match and avoids that hold all the way to the left.
That's the Tomoa method.
And then just basically paddling your feet. I think when you're new at speed, you sort of hope they touch something, and as you get better, you refine that movement. So something we used to make our youth climbers do is essentially climb a route and then climb it blindfolded to try and remember where the feet were, so that as you climb past something, through muscle memory, that spatial awareness, how high do I have to lift my foot? When do I start to put it down? When they get it right, it's amazing. When they get it wrong, you see that slip. And a slip when you're trying to do something in less than 5 seconds, I mean, it's basically, I won't say it's over, because at Pan Ams I saw some athletes slip in the middle and then really reel it back in and have their competitors slip near the top and overtake them. So on the 15-meter wall, there's room to catch up. On the 10-meter wall, not so much.
Right, and that you have a good point, because you might not put your best time forward at this comp, but you could still come out and be a champ.
Exactly. You just got to beat the person beside you. So here we saw behind at the beginning, and Ben McDonald caught up through the middle of the route. So he's behind by 3 holds, and then makes a big dynamic movement where there was a slip from Emile Levesque.
Yeah.
So really good resilience from Ben McDonald to just keep climbing.
That's right. And up next, we've got 4th seed Ethan Hoffman from BC. That's going to go against 13th seeded Ethan Wyatt.
You see there on the left, Ethan also skipping that leftward foot movement and putting him a full second almost ahead, just by being efficient at the beginning. So a couple of the BC climbers, no surprise. So you see where Ethan Wyatt on your right had to put that left foot up. Ethan Hoffman just rocked right through it. We're going to have Cameron Dupuis-Bissonnette on your left against Ben Newman on the right. So you see them go up. They have they get to move that starting pad to a point that's comfortable for them. It's not static to the ground, so you get to adjust as you see fit. So they get it where they want, and then they come back, and then they're set back to their marks. Similar to the starting blocks in a 100-meter sprint.
And here you see the two climbers not opting to have their hands at their same spot on these holds in the beginning. And Cameron.
Same technique, but just, faster.
Yeah, did really well.
So that is a good point, Phil. You don't have to have your hands one on the left and one on the right. You can. You just have to be grabbing one of those two start holds before you start. Completely different style, a little bit, a height difference, whatever you feel like, whatever works for you is where you're going to go.
So now next up on the left, Brennan Doyle from BC, who is our second seed. So two strong British Columbian climbers that have seeded first and second. And Brennan Doyle will come against Jacob Charbonneau.
And it appears as though Jacob is not going to run. That's what it looks like down there. So Brennan Doyle's going to go on his own. Be careful not to false start. But still wants to put a good time down. They're basically practice runs every time. So
there you go, the Tomoa hop.
4.49. This will be a good look at it here. A smear, a hand-foot match. His head never goes down to look at his feet.
Yeah, like a well-executed choreography.
Yeah, almost near perfect foot placements there from Brennan.
Now we've got Matteo Guittard, 7th seed, against Will Antle, who is 10th, coming in from the qualifiers.
So you'd be remiss if you thought that speed climbing wasn't tiring either. I know it's only 4 seconds worth of work, but they had to qualify earlier, and then they're in 4 rounds of climbing. So they do this route like 6 times today.
Oh, and just Will here seemed to have slipped and Matteo Guittard will face Brennan Doyle in the round of 8.
Yeah, so did you see that? He just had a foot slip. Couldn't quite get it back together in time. And then just...
Hugo Valence, who's our third-seeded athlete in this category, climbing out of Canyon on the south shore of Montreal.
And Guy McNamee, your Open and Youth A champion on the right.
Not the most dynamic climber we've seen, Pete.
No, but maybe this is helping him be more dynamic, his climbing speed. Not something I ever would have thought I saw the McNamees doing, but when you're a good climber, you're a good climber. Let's see what these two guys can put down. A good time from Guy McNamee and a great time from Hugo Valence, just over 5 seconds. So even Hugo with a slightly better start and then powered through the middle. I don't know, you probably can't hear it in the background, but Marco is announcing the event and staring at some tricky names that I'm going to make Phil say.
Jeppe Hjermund Lund?
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah,
someone can correct me.
Jeppe Hjermund Lund.
Versus Sacha Coder from Allez.
Donc des athlètes qui peuvent entraîner dans une gymnase avec une mur de vitesse ont définitivement un avantage. Des autres athlètes qu'il faut entraîner dans un autre gymnase, c'est un peu plus difficile.
Oui, sauf
pas
que,
toute la journée.
En fait, ce que j'ai compris, c'est qu'il y a une entente entre plusieurs gyms pour les équipes de compétition ici à Montréal. Donc, des athlètes, par exemple, de l'équipe de Block Shop peuvent venir ici à Léa pour travailler les voies et vice-versa. Je pense que c'est une excellente idée parce qu'ils ont tous des installations. On sait qu'à Horizon Rock, aussi dans l'est de Montréal, C'est un des seuls murs de 15 mètres que l'on a de vitesse dans l'Est canadien.
Ouais.
Alors, je pense que les athlètes là, qui se préparent pour des événements comme ceux-ci vont invariablement vouloir aller à l'installation qui va leur donner les meilleures chances de performer, puis aussi pour voir quelque chose de différent.
Oui, je pense que ça, c'était Yepé qui a gagné. Je pense que c'est la même chose aussi dans l'Ouest. Les organisations et les gymnases ont dit que si tu veux travailler la vitesse dans le gymnase, on ne faut pas payer pour aller l'entraîner avec la vitesse. Il y a une mur de 15 mètres en Calgary, juste dans le gymnase de Calgary Climbing Center, Rocky Mountain. Et il y a une aussi en Victoria, une de 15 mètres.
Fait que les athlètes de l'Ouest les athlètes dans l'Ouest ont donc un petit peu plus d'équipement. Je me demande s'il y en a un mur de 15 mètres en Ontario. Ce serait sûrement quelque chose qui existe, mais pas à ma connaissance.
No, not yet. There's a few 10-meter walls around. Most people can fit a 10-meter wall in their gym. But the 15-meter walls are slightly harder to come by. And if you're training to go and climb speed outside of the country, then you need to get good on the 15 meters because it's a lot more rock climbing.
Right, and it's interesting you were talking about some of the BC athletes that, or your Albertan athletes that you see more often that.
We're just gonna have a look in slow-mo. We'll get the whole route in slow-mo. And you see the men and women do have slightly different beta as we go. And you get a good look because it happens so fast. So this is what happened. You see the move out left is a little bit slower than what you've seen some of these people do, some of these climbers do. We need to go where they go straight up.
Yeah.
Same thing if you go out right here. If you can't do that dyno in the middle, it does take a few extra seconds. And then this dyno here, it's a perfect example. If you miss that foot, you can't really haul through, and there's nothing else to save you. So on the speed route, it is quite precise. You see a good look.
Yeah, and it's about precision, but and you see them doing dynamic movements, but too big of a dyno is not that good because your body always needs to sort of latch the hold, readjust, and then get your feet up from a big dyno. So all these movements, ideally, you should be doing, in a certain state of flow.
Exactly. Think of it like swimming or paddling or something where you don't want to have a sudden pull and a stop and a pull and a stop. You want to just be accelerating the entire time. So it's the more that I've been exposed to watching speed and looking at speed and sort of critically thinking about it so that we can bring you speed at these events, I'm more and more intrigued by the depth of technique that it takes to get very, very good at a route like this. And what you might not know is that the speed route is exactly the same around the world. So the angle of the wall, the actual hold, so people don't pour copies, you need to have the official holds in the official place on the official angle. I think it took them like 3 hours to put the speed wall up because, they have protractors out. The angles have to be perfect. Otherwise, the times, if you're looking internationally, you can't have a world record on something that's like, imagine running 100 meters and having it be 98 meters. You can't have that. So the speed route is exactly the same, and it's been exactly the same for, at least 10 years.
Yeah, and it's interesting because you don't have that level of work or detail, I think, being done with bouldering or difficulty. You're putting up a route for the athletes that are there at that specific event. That is the level playing field in itself. But when you're bringing on speed, you have to make sure it's consistently the same thing.
Exactly.
From one comp, from one gym to another, to make sure we're getting the right movements out.
Yeah, so when we're testing difficulty in speed athletes, we're trying to test a huge variety of knowledge of movement and ability to create different movements. We're testing commitment. We're testing all these things that we talk about. We talked over the last couple of days. But when you're testing speed athletes, you're just saying, hey, go faster. Here you go.
Yeah. And because the route is the same or is supposed to be the same, what happens is you get people watching videos online and, trying to compare beta and refining it down to micro movements.
Yeah. So we get Lexi Binder
Yeah.
So Lachine just had a slip right at the very beginning, and then you saw that. I think she was pretty sure she wasn't going to catch up. So, I mean, full respect for climbing the whole route out, not just letting go and coming to the ground.
Yeah. Good on Lestine and good, good on Lexi as well to have gone on to the round to the semifinals.
Riley Galloway against Sydney Hennessy. Good look at Sydney getting focused. Big deep breath, couple of arm swings. And you see Riley there with the knee pads on to save the knees.
Volleyball
Style, exactly. So this one's proven to be close right off the bat. This one's going to be tight. Oh my goodness.
0.2 of a second out. It's Sydney Hennessy that beats Riley Galloway. Wow.
I don't think either of them made a mistake there either. I think that was just Sydney cranking down. You see she gets ahead. They made the same move at the same time. Maybe a longer arm, longer fingers. That's the difference at this point.
Yeah, and Riley, she was pretty certain up until she saw the timer that she had done what she needed to do. And I think that's the best case scenario in these routes, speed routes, is you have two competitors that did their best, and it really came down to the wire.
Yeah.
No one slipped.
Nobody slipped. Nobody did anything wrong. That was two people put down there probably close to their best time.
So Babette Roy contre Mina Lancaster. Alors Babette, wow,
assez vite
toute
Babette.
Une longueur d'avance.
Et un slip de Mina, mais un bon temps de, c'est quoi, c'est 6 secondes et un 6.6 de Babette?
6.85, je crois. Ouais.
Tes yeux sont meilleurs de mon...
Ouais, on va voir ici le temps avec précision, mais ouais, 6.85. Alors, wow, impressionnant. Je pense que c'est le meilleur temps qu'on a vu jusqu'à présent des demoiselles.
Peut-être, ouais, peut-être.
En ce moment, on aura Geneviève Phipps et Brielle Zacharias.
You notice Brielle elects to put the rope, the strap of the auto belay behind her shoulder, whereas Geneviève keeps it in front.
Geneviève seems to have a better start out, but Brielle taller.
7:09 and 7:19.
Brielle really edged her out at the end, sort of caught up.
Yeah, they kind of almost went back and forth there across the middle. Brielle a little bit taller, made a move right here that put her ahead, and then had to catch up again. And you see that, I mean, they're still in the air from touching the buzzer. She looks to the left to see her time. She looks to the right to see Brielle's time. That's how bad these athletes want this. We are no longer doing speed just for the sake of it being an event that exists at the national championships. We're doing speed because we want to win a speed comp. So that's it's cool to see that level of competition and commitment. And she hadn't even hit the end of the rope from the catch, and she was looking to see what her time was.
Yeah, they're still in speed mode, Pete.
Exactly. They're moving quick.
Even if they're off the wall, they're still moving quick.
We'll go back to the round of 8 for the Youth A boys. Jackson McDonald and Ben McDonald, of no relation.
And Jackson put up the best time in the round of 16 with 4 seconds, 22 tenths of a second. Wow.
Impressive.
He just raced up.
He looks like he's got it really well dialed in. And I mean, he climbed well in lead yesterday as well. So he's definitely not a one-sport athlete. Battle of the McDonald's.
Oh,
Oh no!
Jackson slipped. And that's a shame.
That is a shame, and that's going for it.
Yeah, and that's an unfortunate demonstration of what can happen in a speed comp. You've got, you know, a really strong speed climber, and it comes down to execution.
And what you saw was he just missed the hand-foot match that we were talking about that puts him ahead of most of his fellow competitors. Ben McDonald put down a good time in his own right, so he's psyched.
And it's about risk-taking. So that hand-foot match that's been popularized to shave time off, well, that's the cost. Is that, you know, you might not execute it 10 times out of 10. You can do it 9 times out of 10, but every once in a while there's that slip that it can occur, and yeah, it's part of the game.
Oh, a great start from both these two. Oh no, and then a slip from Cameron. So sub 5 seconds from Ethan Hoffman. And it was neck and neck until right there.
Yeah, sort of, we saw Cameron sort of struggle to get his weight over his left foot there in the middle of the panel of the route, and that's what proved costly for him. It's a sunny day here in Montreal.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Natural light in here makes it nice. You don't actually feel that you're crammed inside of a climbing gym. Although we definitely are.
We are, but.
Oh, a really good start from Mateo.
Oh,
and then
wow.
Brennan. Oh. Mateo ahead,
Doyle.
behind, and then ahead again.
Oh, my God.
I thought Brennan was going to get away with it when Mateo slipped, and then you see Brennan slip too.
Here we'll see it just to your left. His right foot, and you know what? It's interesting because you can see in his body language, Brennan is not looking down.
Not at all.
He's that confident, and actually he's made the conscious choice to shave time off by not taking the time to look down, to concentrate more on his hands to make sure he's latching onto the holds higher up, but in doing so,
well, what you get is, and you sort of, as we alluded to, that when you're sort of ranked up on adrenaline in the round of 8, is that maybe that's as hard as he's pulled that move, and when he put his foot down from what he's used to, he was higher up than his body expected him to be, and it's just fractions of inches at this point.
And Yepe here is sporting a really nice hat,
Let's see if that
tie-dye
makes him
hat.
faster. Tough to get ahead of Hugo Valence, though. So a good start, but as you see, Hugo doesn't go left, and that ultimately just gives him a little bit more upward momentum that he carries through the middle of the route. So that's proving to be a difference here, is how these athletes are choosing to do that second move.
Yep.
It's a, you know, when you say, oh, does it really make that much of a difference? Well, when you're winning by 0.2 of a second, yes, it absolutely makes that much of a difference. 0.2 of a second is probably the difference between going out to the side and having to come back versus not.
Absolutely right. So these next races for the Youth A ladies category is going to determine who's going to be fighting for a gold, silver, and bronze medal.
All right, moving on to the semifinal. In Youth A female, our first race, we have Lexi Binder against Sydney Hennessy.
So this is for a spot in the big final.
That's right.
And if you come second in this one, you get a spot in the small final, which is your race for third place.
And we're seeing some bruised up climbers coming down from the wall with some knees that are seriously scraped.
Yeah, we see Jeppe who just walked by bleeding profusely from his right knee.
So those knee pads are actually,
Maybe a good idea.
yeah.
If you're a knee model, you want to keep that protected.
Yeah, we all know climbers are notorious foot models.
Lexi Binder, this one's close. Lexi on your left. Just edging out Sydney Hennessy. Lexi punching her ticket into the final.
And Sydney will still race again and try to get that bronze medal.
So it was close till right here. And then Lexi just motoring through. I mean, you would think, maybe you wouldn't, but maybe you would think that a taller athlete has an advantage, but not necessarily. It's about geometry. And it's easier to get your feet up high for some of those moves in a compressed space. So you don't need to be tall to race speed. As you said, Reza is like 5'4" or something.
Right, and he races against another climber who's Bassam Awem, who must be 6'1" or 2.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
You find your beta according to your size.
That's the funny thing about climbing is that there have been different body types that have had success. So there's been ample.
There is no one. Yeah.
Right. There's been ample debate about that, but so far nothing's been conclusive. That I think is a good thing.
Yeah, Babette against Brielle. It's close. Babette maybe just getting away. Yes.
Yes, Babette getting it done with at least 22 tenths of a second to spare, but sort of was hesitant at the top. She reeled it in, though, and will be in contention for the gold medal here.
She got ahead here, and then that Brielle caught up on that second last move, but didn't quite have enough to make it happen.
So we'll have the Youth A boys vying for the big final.
We might actually be doing the juniors at this point. The junior.
Oh.
I'm not 100% sure. I just know that there's a spot in. No, we're not. I recognize Ben McDonald there on the left of the screen. I know that there's when we run the juniors, there's significantly less female competitors, so we don't kick in until the semifinal. Basically, there was just 4.
Yeah, so I think the first race we'll be having will pit Ben McDonald against Ethan Hoffman. So Alberta versus BC in this first matchup to determine the first finalist in the big final.
So they never really cool down. They don't, it's been less than 10 minutes from when the last time they raced. Probably only 5 minutes really. So they just sort of wander back over into the bouldering area. There's no isolation, of course. It's for speed climbing, and put a layer on and just try and keep the muscles warm. There is a minimum amount of time they have to give them between rounds. I don't have the rule book available to tell you what that is, but I remember from the Pan Ams that a couple rounds went very quickly, and they sort of had a 3 or 4 minute pause to make sure that their athletes weren't coming out sooner than they were expected based on what the rules say.
Yeah, so Pete, I pulled up some information quite interesting, is that the Narasaki variation, which we were alluding to, that allows you to skip the 4th hold on these speed routes, Adam Andra tried it in an article that's on blackdiamondequipment.com, and he says it's proper hard. It feels like a 7A or 7B, so basically a V7/8 boulder problem in and of itself.
That's interesting. Coming from Adam Andra, who would know?
Right. Who knows what hard climbing is about, and also who's been quite clear about his aspirations to go to Tokyo.
Yep.
And to live this Olympic dream of his, and like a lot of climbers, and I think that's a big motivator right now in the competition seen internationally. But and we've seen numerous climbers in this category display this very same move. So that could probably give a couple of you non-speed climbers a bit of perspective
Exactly.
as to how difficult this all is. I mean, people can say, "Oh, speed is easy; it's just big jugs." Yes, but you have to climb it in very few seconds or nanoseconds. So
Exciting stuff. Ethan Hoffman on the right. Ben McDonald
and
just
Ethan
ahead. Ethan Hoffman. There's a lot of these routes have been decided in basically the next to last move. So these guys are pretty much neck and neck, and then you just see Ethan hits the buzzer with his left hand, and Ben goes to the buzzer with his right hand. So I think Ethan's skipping the very last hold when Ben is going left and then right. So a little bit taller, maybe reach through. We were watching Alexa Vanier do exactly that as well. Grabs the second last hole, winds up, and does essentially a one-arm dyno to hit the buzzer. So that was the difference.
Yeah.
They were in exactly the same place. Ben went left, Ethan went straight, and that's your 0.2 of a second. We got Matteo and Hugo.
Yeah, an all Quebec final here today. Well, semifinal.
Semifinal at least.
Oh, and Hugo storms out of the blocks.
Really
wow,
good start from Hugo.
475. Amazing. Keeps bringing that timer down.
Yeah, anything under 5 seconds is to be respected. You see here, they both skipped that far right move, and Matteo had a slip, but I don't know that he would have caught up regardless.
Yeah, I think that was really a strong start, from Hugo Valence. Hugo qui a vraiment exécuté parfaitement parce qu'il a fait son meilleur chrono de la ronde. Donc, performance sans bavure de sa part. Puis, il se retrouve maintenant en position pour remporter soit la médaille d'or ou la médaille d'argent ici.
So we're interesting. So Ethan put down a 5:03, and you go with 4:75. That's who's going to face off in your final. Not very far apart those times.
No.
And I think there's a bit of a brief. So as we were saying, they need to give them a minimum amount of time. So before we see the women's final, we just got to hang out for a minute.
That's right.
If you didn't, I'm assuming most of the people who checked in today to watch speed were watching difficulty yesterday. If you didn't, I would highly recommend going back and watching both of the difficulty finals from yesterday evening. We saw some wonderful climbing, some great resilience. We saw Kinder McNamee go from 8th to 2nd. We saw some really good climbing across all categories. Saw some routes get topped. So definitely recommend going back and having a cruise through the finals live stream. If you want to see what the future of the sport looks like, climbing on ropes. So it's interesting that you mentioned Adam Ondra, because I do recall that when the Olympic format was first announced, Adam Ondra was one of those vocal athletes who said, no, I will not compete at the Olympics because I do not want to be in a distilled pool of not the best boulderer, not the best lead climber, not the best speed climber. And then I don't know what changes. I don't know that he's written about that anywhere. I don't know if anyone's actually asked him or gone back and kind of pulled that quote and said, you've changed from saying I am never going to compete in the Olympic format to, okay, maybe I shall.
Yeah, and there's apparently a video series of his that has been developed, The Road to Tokyo. I've not yet checked them out. I've heard that they're interesting. So perhaps he offers some insights in that, Pete.
Would be. There's a really good film in last year's Mountain Film Fest where a climbing filmmaker, and his name has escaped me now, but he delves into speed climbing as someone who claims to hate speed climbing, and he goes and he tries it and he trains and he talks about Reza. There's a couple of interviews with Reza, and you see that's where you get this insight into how determined he is to climb speed at that rate. And a really good watch. It's a short film. I think it's maybe only 15 minutes long. And at the end of it, he comes around. I mean, I think his best time on the speed was like 16 seconds or something. But basically, as a trad climber, coming in with thumbing his nose at speed climbing, he gets an appreciation for how difficult it is. And then the insight, like you were mentioning, Adam Andres saying that the hand-foot match method is approaching V7, really does give you what a lot of people dismissed speed climbing years ago as not climbing at all into, wait a minute, people have gotten very, very, very good at this.
Yeah. And we've had a really good example this whole weekend. I mean, the kids are all right.
The kids are all
and,
right.
And, the future of climbing in Canada is looking really great because there's just a lot more maturity in preparing athletes. There's this effect where younger and younger climbers are establishing great results. And so everything's possible.
Exactly. So your bronze medal match, Sydney Hennessy on the left, Brielle Zacharias on the right. So this is, I do love the small final, big final format. You do have to win yourself a bronze medal.
Yeah.
You've got to go out and beat somebody to get on the podium.
Very much like we see in the Olympics for other disciplines. So.
Exactly. So you see there different hand placements. Just depending on height, depending on how you make that first move, depending on where you want your momentum to go. You see Brielle miming those first two moves at full speed.
And we're off.
Sydney maybe just ahead.
Oh, wow. Brielle sort of
catching up. There it is, 7.21.
You could just see Brielle just gaining these inches
Every
of
hold.
advantage. And she's your bronze medalist, folks, for the Youth A category.
So they were neck and neck until the dyno. And then Brielle got her couple of tenths of a second advantage. They were touching the same holds at exactly the same time until the dyno. Your gold medal around here. Babette on your right, Lexi Binder on your left, and too close to call. I don't want to make a prediction. They've both been putting down scorching times. Here we go. Babette just ahead. And a slip.
She slips.
Still going to fight for it. Lexi Bender keeps it rolling. Oh, Babette, you can see the hands on top of the head. She definitely knows she had it in her to take that gold medal. So right here, she's ahead.
And it's
then
a
a foot
right
slip.
foot that actually doesn't, connect with the foot on the wall.
And Lexi Binder putting down a 6.8. So sub 7 seconds to win the gold medal is pretty fantastic.
Absolutely.
And
Well
Babette
done
Ross,
on
silver
her.
medal, absolutely. I mean, you're disappointed not to win a gold, but second place is second place.
That's right.
Yep, she'll be psyched, I think, once the emotions settle a little bit.
Yeah. She climbed really well through this round and had, put some really good times down, and she's a really speedy climber.
Yeah, you were saying that yesterday during the women's final that she does like to climb dynamically. She doesn't spend a lot of time sort of pausing on the holds. She runs through those moves with confidence. So that transfers very well. Or maybe some of that comes from training speed as well. Maybe they are starting to play off each other, and that the more confident you get in making powerful dynamic moves at pace, then when you're climbing your lead route, the moves that you know are well within your ability, you can kind of stomp them down and keep going.
I agree.
Your bronze medal is Ben McDonald, who's going to be on your left, and Matteo
Guitar.
I can't read your writing, Phil. Sophisticated systems here. You see there's the light right in the, at the height of the third hold, goes from blue to green. The foot pedals, we used to have 2 people with stopwatches on each route, and we sort of compared the times in order to get our winners, but now we've embraced full technology, pressure pads.
Also the
beeps and
belaying.
lights, and yeah, less belaying. Ben and Matteo. You see even here the stance that they take. So Matteo on your right with that foot significantly farther behind him than Ben McDonald chooses to, and they're of a similar height.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I was discussing with Yves Gravel. So Yves is not a speed specialist, but he was pointing out some interesting observations, is that before the Tomoa Beta that would have you skip the 4th hold, you would have climbers go to that 4th hold, which is significantly out left. So you would want to start more to the right with your hips really aligned against the wall. But now,
straight up, it's going to be close.
And it's
oh
Ben
my goodness,
McDonald.
Ben McDonald come from behind. He was behind almost the entire way up that route, and then he did
psyched.
something special. He is really, really psyched. Look at that grin. I mean, he took down the fastest guy in the semifinal, but watch this here. He's behind from the get-go.
Yeah.
And then I don't even know that Hugo makes a tiny slip, and Ben just gets it right the whole way up.
That was Matteo Guitar.
Sorry,
and,
yes.
I was about to say that the newest method for the start has you starting with your hips more aligned with the center of the route to be able to go directly to, in a straight line to the anchor.
Or to not be heading the 3rd hold to the 4th, which is to the left. You want to go 3rd hold and then immediately be going straight up. So
exactly.
Subtle difference, but exactly right. Your initial momentum needs to come more straight up and down and less left to right.
And I think you need to practice both, because you might not always want to do that, V8 sort of hand-foot match. So let's see what these finalists will do.
Ethan Hoffman on your left. And look at this. This is fast. Oh, no. So a slip from Hugo and sub 5 seconds from Ethan Hoffman.
And, wow.
So
what's happening?
Ethan Hoffman. So right there you see the foot slip from Hugo. Ethan Hoffman bettering his semifinal time by a considerable margin from 5:03.
What's happening here?
Not Oh. We had a problem with the timer.
Oh, boy.
That's going to be difficult, but
so Ethan Hoffman is not your winner, folks. This is what you need to understand, is that
not just yet.
They will be racing again.
They said give him, I heard Marco in the background say 2 minutes. So that's, I'm sure that's in the rules.
You see Hugo here just like trying to catch his breath, because, I mean, he was just red hot out of the blocks. And if it wasn't for those 2 smears that seemed to have slipped consecutively at
right
the top,
the
he would have put up perhaps his best time. But that's all part of the game. You need to be on point and efficient and precise the whole way through. Otherwise, you're not going to win.
Yeah, it's worth noting that Ethan Hoffman put down 4.65, and Hugo's semifinal time was 4.75. So that's a significant jump. for Ethan.
Yeah, and it's his best time because we've seen him like do 499 in the round of 8. So
high pressure here. So Hugo's going to want to dial that in. Will he be more cautious? I doubt it. Right, you got to put it all on the line to try and win this thing, and Ethan's got to focus as well. Get back down.
bit of drama here, right?
I like a little drama. I don't mind it. I mean, obviously, it's not the greatest thing to have to run again, but
No.
a little bit of extra hype. It's good
Especially
for the
when
audience.
it's like an equipment malfunction. You know, you don't want the equipment to play a role
Exactly.
in the outcome. But hey,
I wonder if it was maybe because the times seemed to all start together. I wonder if it was maybe a false start that didn't get recorded. I'm not sure.
yeah. But usually when that green light, goes on.
Here we go again. Yeah, there we have it. Oh, no.
And there you go. Ethan will confirm.
So Hugo putting all of the marbles in place, and then I imagine he was just gunning for the best possible, and he just slips that first move, going for everything.
So Ethan Hoffman is your champion for these speed championships here in Montreal.
And he put down 4.88 and slowed down because he saw Hugo slip. And it's important. I mean, if he had fallen off
They'd have to
completely,
do it again, right?
no, then Hugo would have, and it stayed on, then you can climb it in 15 seconds if you want. So Ethan slowed down to make no mistakes and still put down 4.8, which means he was crushing the start of that route. So unfortunate for Hugo, but Ethan reconfirms that he had the best time. So there's some discussion. We'll try and find out how long the gap is before we start the next round. I mean, officially, we're supposed to start Youth B at 4 p.m., which is now. We started a little bit late, so I think we're probably going to take just a couple of minutes break. Don't go far. Leave the stream on and just listen. We'll turn the sound off here, and when we're ready to come back, we'll pop the volume back up, and we're going to be going with our Youth B, or with our junior athletes. So the schedule is basically out the window already. We're supposed to have A and junior done by 4 o'clock, and here we are at 4 o'clock, and we got juniors to go. So the junior males is a full round of 16, and the junior females is just a semifinal and a final. So we're going to have all of the dudes in a row, and then when we get down to the semifinal, we'll go to that back and forth format again, and then following that, a short break. Youth B. And following that, we're going to go with open. So stick with us. We will be back when speed is back.
All right, everybody. Hope you got yourself a cup of tea or some other.
It's a holiday. Maybe you got yourself, it's post noon, maybe you got yourself a beer,
Yeah,
glass of wine.
I'd be partial to that, Pete.
I mean, I can't imagine that we're too many years away from having this on the big screen at your local pub.
I'd like that.
Yeah.
I mean, if darts are playing at the pub, then you got to have speed climbing.
I think darts is more popular than football.
In some places in the UK, for sure.
But I would be psyched to walk into a pub and see World Cup bouldering of a Sunday evening on the big screen. That would be pretty fantastic.
It'd be great. You know, you'd want to go there with your pals and, you know, chat about who's in form, who won the last comp, and, what the new training methods are.
And it's more fun to yell at the TV when you're around a lot of other people who are also yelling at the TV, right?
Yeah.
You want to express some frustration with maybe where you placed your bets.
That's right.
I know we're not officially betting on climbing, but there is definitely the World Cup fantasy pool that's run for a couple years now. I'm remiss to forget the name of the person who started it, but you pick your winners through all the World Cup events, and then you basically get bragging rights at the end of the season. So we're starting with the junior men.
That's right. Man Ellis, who's a speed, he's a racer. It's going to be really fast, folks, with Man Ellis. He is our first seed in this category, and he's going to be against Olivier Paradis-Roberge. Alors, Olivier qui a un bon défi devant lui. Man Ellis qui est connu pour, en fait, représenter le Canada à l'international sur des compétitions de vitesse. Pas juste en vitesse, Man nous a montré un peu plus tôt cette année ses prouesses en matière de bloc au championnat junior qui ont eu lieu à Block Shop.
Regarde le pied gauche de Man ici.
Oui, complètement droit.
Différent.
Alors, on est en droit de penser qu'il va faire la méthode Tomoa.
Oui.
Voilà.
C'est vite.
4.8 pour Man Ellis.
Il a l'air de faire un peu casuellement le fini.
Oui, il a l'air en fait, il semblait savoir qu'il n'était pas en difficulté parce que il a touché ça un peu comme tu toucherais une prise de fin sur un bloc là, en dalle.
Ouais. So I think we'll see faster times from Man as the afternoon progresses.
And also faster times in general for this whole age group because they probably got a bit more experience, a bit more strength. Who knows?
Yep.
Maybe not, but
maybe not. But definitely the junior men bigger, stronger in general. Sean Faulkner becoming a triple threat.
Yeah, absolutely.
One bouldering, podiumed in lead. And not looking super speedy, but enough. Oh, he missed the buzzer.
He did not touch the buzzer. Alors, c'est Carl Christophe Tessier qui progresse et qui affrontera Man Ellis tantôt dans la ronde de 8.
You see, he gets right up here and his foot slips. So he comes up just a bit short of the buzzer while taking a swing at it. We're seeing climbers warm up with bungees and therabands, trying to get that explosive power warmed up. See them doing jumping jacks and arm swings. You see them in the bouldering cave doing dynos.
Yep. Need to get the whole sort of body, your core, your legs, your arms, your back.
The whole system.
The whole system needs to be warmed up and ready to just explode.
And then as we saw at every round, Babette Roy gives herself a double face slap before she starts. We haven't seen that out of the men yet, but Babette gives herself the double cheek smack to kind of get that little spark going.
Yeah.
Extra boost of adrenaline.
And now we've got Zachary Mathieu out left against Thomas Saab. And Zachary, who was our fourth seed, making a good time.
It's interesting. I was chatting with Yves Gravel yesterday. I know you were chatting with Yves Gravel yesterday as well. We just came back from doing strength lifting competition where he pulled home 4 medals and set 3 world records, which is insane. But he was talking about learning how to train like a power lifter and how he was immediately realizing the benefits to his core and his mobility through his hips and his strength in his legs, how it would transfer straight to bouldering. And imagine that now would transfer, of course, into speed climbing as well. So the techniques, things you see from powerlifters, he said it was pretty scary to watch the guys kind of having their coaches like smack them unbelievably hard to get that little kick of adrenaline. And that's you need a boost somewhere. And you see bobsledders do it, and that's one of the fastest starts of any sport in the Olympics is the push of a bobsled. Oh, you see both athletes slip one after the other.
Yeah, this was Jonah Street that just edged out Cale Elford.
But you watch the bobsledders, and before they start, they'll slap themselves in the thigh, they'll slap each other on the back, and there's a reason behind it. It's about getting a little bit aggressive, a little bit excited, and just changing the body chemistry.
It's like
and
those salts in hockey.
Exactly. You take a little sniff, shake your head, and off you go. And you know, it's just cool to see what these athletes are choosing to do to try and give themselves a boost.
Absolutely. And so who's going to need the best boost here? So we've got Ethan Flynn, pitcher, against Nathan Kennedy. So Ethan Flynn was our second seed out to the left, and I saw him earlier. He had a flat 5 second run, and he was storming up the wall. So have an out for bib 196.
Yeah, looking really, really good.
Whoa, 485. Ethan Flynn, pitcher.
Good stuff.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's a perfect run from Ethan Flynn, pitcher, but again, that's not what you need.
No, you need as good as you need to be ahead of the guy beside you. Just enough is good enough every time. I mean, ideally you set a personal best when you're at nationals. That would be your goal, perhaps, to show that you can handle the pressure. Then you can perform when you need to.
Yeah.
Phil, I'm seeing people walk around with popsicles. I think there's a little popsicle food cart.
Yes.
And I'm going to admit that I'm super jealous. So
I am too.
If you know someone who's in the gym, by all means text them and ask them to bring a couple of popsicles over to the live stream booth. Phil and I will be forever grateful.
Yeah, and we promise to mute our mics whilst we are tasting them.
Fact.
So we've got Griffin Leishon and Mitchell Height.
And you see Mitchell with the huge flag with his left foot well behind him. And they called this one. They stopped it just before. I think they saw there was a problem with the clock. So they didn't let them start. They're about to. A quick refresh, and then ready to go. Now we got a clean start. Mitchell catching up.
Wow, Mitchell doing a lot of dynos.
6.42, that's, or 8.42. 6.42?
I think it was 6.42, yeah, for Mitchell Height.
And even that was with a slip, so
yeah.
He does go out left right away, and then
both
does
climbers
this dyno.
slipped, and sort of you see Mitchell sort of scrambling to get his right hand into the last right-handed jug.
And he goes to those last 2 holds, both hands at the same time, and then finishes right hand.
So Aiden Doyle versus Dylan Bokenfor. So we saw these two in finals yesterday.
Yep.
And getting some really good replays from Sports Canada TV, showing you a bit what happened and what we missed perhaps live. Oh, and Aiden slipped
And then
twice, and that
tried to
was
recover. When you're trying to recover sub 6 seconds on your right, but when you're trying to recover from that slip, you really over push it. So, a testament to social media. I'd done that once at a comp in Calgary. I asked, it was loud in the gym, and I said on the live stream that if anybody knew someone in the gym and to text them to bring me a beer. And 5 minutes later, a beer arrived below the bouldering wall, and I was really, really psyched. And one of the parents just cruised by with a thumbs up. He's going to head out to get us.
that's great.
Yeah, it's been
Power of the
Nicola-
community.
Mr. Buckchuck getting it done.
Alors, on a Nathanaël Tremblay et Andy Charbonneau pour ce dernier affrontement de la ronde des 16. Deux grimpeurs qui évoluent au Québec. Nathanaël est bien évidemment un grimpeur de l'équipe Allez, alors aura eu une chance, bien évidemment, de parfaire ses connaissances puis de s'habituer au mur ici. Alors, on verra si le tout lui procure un avantage dans cette course.
Taking an extra couple of minutes. And probably maybe trying to find the last two. Usually there's not this big of a gap between rounds. Here they are. Oh,
no.
I see Man Ellis. So maybe we are. That's interesting.
What's happened?
I don't know. We do have an update on the technical that happened in the final between.
Oh, this is great.
That is fantastic stuff.
So we're going to keep the action going towards the on the screen, but we've gotten our popsicles, folks.
We are popsicled up right now. It's a summer day. We should be having popsicles. Well, it's a spring day, I guess, more accurately. Thank you to the Buckchuck clan for getting that message through the system.
Yeah,
we're gonna
these
get
popsicles are brought to you by popsart.com.
They are delicious. Looks like real fruit. Men Ellis and Carl.
Christophe Tessier.
Thank you.
Alley up climber as well.
Man Ellis, you see those big arms paddling.
Yeah, and Man Ellis does climb V8.
Yep.
So that helps in doing that, initial beta.
Yep. And again, he looked very casual at the top. I think knew he was ahead and just sort of stands up on the last hold and just drifts his hands in. So it's a testament to how well he's got this thing dialed and that he knows what's going on. I think I'm pretty impressed with the way he's putting that speed route together. We haven't seen the fastest time out of him, not by a long shot. So this should be Zachary Mathieu and Jonah Street.
Jonah's got a good smile on, getting himself psyched. We like to see that.
Clean start. Zachary, Jonah catching up. And Zachary getting it done.
Yeah. That was a good race. Both sub 6 second runs. So
it happens fast.
So Zachary earns a spot in the semifinals against Man Ellis. So he'll have to save his best for that because Man has proven he's the man to beat.
Yeah, I mean, he put down 4.5 on his opening round, and that was slowing up at the top. So I mean, it's just something to be well aware of. So the last pairing they didn't run. It was Nathaniel Tremblay and Andy Charbonneau. So Andy not racing. So Nathaniel Tremblay was the race we didn't see at the end, didn't have to put a time up. I guess they give them the choice if they want to run or not for that practice run or not. And you'll have Nathaniel Tremblay will come against Dylan Bokenfour at the bottom of the round of 8 here.
That might be an interesting strategy. Be fresher.
Yeah.
But maybe you need to be warmed up. You want that run to occur nevertheless. It'll be interesting. Ethan Flynn, pitcher.
Mitchell Haight going for all the marbles and coming down. You see that slip there. His feet just didn't quite get under him for that big move. If you ever tried to do a big dyno and had one foot slip, you know exactly how that feels. That is not only something you see in speed. Dylan Bokenfour on your left and Nathaniel Tremblay à votre droite. Oh, a really good start from Nathaniel. Look at this.
Wow. Storming out of the block.
Yeah. As you were saying, he made a decision not to race right before that and maybe a bit fresher. So now we have your junior women. Sophie Valence on the left, Caitlin Williams on the right. No, man, you cannot make a conversion on your 8A scorecard.
You could try.
You could try.
I'd give him to you, but...
How are you on the live stream while you're competing?
Yeah, you got the gift of ubiquity.
Or someone jacked his name, maybe. Sophie Valence getting a good start here.
Yeah.
And motoring up this sub 7 seconds.
Yeah, and Sophie, like her brother, I think, is a competitor that has trained this discipline quite a bit. So we can see that right off the block. And we'll be saying Caitlin Williams again, though.
Fact. Yes, we will. Sophie Buitendijk against Yinky Ying. Sophie on your right. What flavor have you got there? Is that like a mango, passion fruit maybe?
I think it is mango. Mango and strawberry.
We got Yinky powering up. Oh, having a little pause. Coming in just at 8 seconds. A different skipping holds, but skipping different holds. So you see she goes out right at the finish, but then skips sort of the third to last hold. So that's something that she's developed. They're based on her height or her preference. So this is really interesting. Just watch the finishing sequence here from Yinky. She goes out right and then skips the third to last hold. A shorter dyno maybe, an easier dyno than skipping the hold outright.
Yeah.
But something that brings time in for her nonetheless. We're going to have our semifinal round on the men's side.
And what's your flavor, Pete?
It's definitely raspberry, like seeds and all.
Yeah.
It's a real fruit popsicle right here.
It's great. Refreshing and nutritious.
We got to keep your energy up over the course of the weekend.
That's right. Thanks again to
The Buck the Chucks.
yeah.
Yep. Just giving the mandatory minimum amount of time.
Yeah,
See
we'll be
Allez
seeing.
on the bottom of your screen there with his
He's
whatever
probably
he's listening to there.
commenting on the live stream.
Maybe that's exactly what's going on. I mean, it's entirely possible that he's watching it after to see how he was climbing. So perhaps not a terrible idea
Yeah,
in order
get
to go
live
back
video
and get
feedback.
immediate feedback to the way you're moving up the speed route.
That's next level, actually.
That might be. What would be your track of choice to get psyched up before your speed climb?
I use a track that's for running. It's A-Track's Running Man mix.
Mhm.
It's like a 45, 50-minute mix. It's like it gets you really pumped to run as fast as you can.
It's fair.
So-
I think I would go back to my ski racing days and I would go with Ministry.
Oh,
Yeah, remember I'm old.
that's
But
right.
that was,
Well, yeah, I'm not that young either, but that or some Prodigy, perhaps.
yeah, for sure. Something with just a super, super, super fat, like just something to get you a little bit angry.
It wouldn't be jazz.
No, it wouldn't be. No, and if you never listen to Ministry, it's hard to listen to Ministry and not be a little bit angry about something. It just makes you remember something that you were mad about. Remember that guy that cut you off in traffic? That's what Ministry makes you think of. So they are nodding. You can see them on the side of your screen, ready to go. You're gonna get Man Ellis against Zachary Mathieu.
Alors, on va voir si Zachary est capable de garder le meilleur pour la fin. On voit que cette course-là, en fait, c'est pour déterminer qui des deux va se battre pour la médaille d'or. Alors, on va revoir ses compétiteurs aussi dans la petite finale si jamais il y a défaite.
See a big grimace from Zachary before starting that. Good start from Zachary. Man's going to have to hustle. And he does. He does
that
hustle.
came close. And Zachary came really close. I think he just slowed down a bit in the middle of the route. And
Yeah, man with a bit of a smile. You see, he has a slip too, so he knows he's got to start going faster. How's a slip there?
whoa, and took a chance doing a one-armed dyno for the third to last hold. And
I think lucky for man, Zachary had a very small slip right at the top there as well. So just sort of missed his foot on the hand-foot match on the third to last hold. So we get Man Ellis will end up in your gold medal round, and then Ethan here against Nathaniel Tremblay.
Ethan Flynn pitcher.
Sub
Whoa.
5 seconds again. He's been putting down consistently fast times all the way through. I think I'm excited to see Ethan against Man in the final. I think
Yeah.
that's going to be, they're going to have to go at this point 4.7 if both of them put down their best possible times. I mean, you're looking at 4.76 there from Ethan, and Man put down sub 5 seconds in his first round. So that's going to be spicy. We're going to move on to the women's small final. Caitlin Williams against Sophie Buitendijk.
So Ivan Luo is saying that the grade of the route is 10B/C. This may well be the case, but what we were talking about, this was Adam Andra saying that the Narasaki variation and move, which you're skipping the fourth hold in, He's grading it at V78. That's Adam Andre. I'm not the one grading it. So if you're climbing it at a leisurely pace like Pete has, it's 10B/C apparently.
And it takes about 5 minutes.
You know, you need to shake off the pump, right,
Exactly. The whole I mean, I encourage you to go to a speed wall if you have one at your local gym. They're not jugs. They're basically slopers. Like every hold is a sloper. The faster you move, the easier it is in terms of how pumped you don't get. If you climb it like a route, you have to like make big moves on locked off slopers. It's bizarre the way it climbs. As I'm just going to pull on and go. So it's funny how it works out. But Caitlin Williams on your left.
Bronze medal race for your junior women.
Oh, a slip from Sophie. Caitlin powering out. Sophie making up ground here. It's going to be close. Sophie Buitendijk, I think right there is going to be your bronze medalist.
That's right. And she won for lead in her category yesterday, so leaving with 2 medals. The Sophosaurus.
The Sophosaurus. All right, your gold medal. Sophie Valence on the left and Yinky Ying on the right. It's a good look at who gets the slightly better start from Caitlin. And then Sophie reels it in through the middle of the route. Gets that foot placement spot on.
Yeah, that I think that replay showed us. It's all about flow, and it felt like Sophie, even though she came out of the blocks a bit late, did better in flowing all the way up.
Oh, Yinky Ying with a better start. However, oh my goodness, Sophie Valence
is your winner.
She comes from behind, showing some tenacity. She just gets ahead right here. She's definitely psyched. Good times from both of those two as well.
Yeah, exciting finish for the junior ladies final.
All right, we're going to get the small final for the gentlemen. Zachary Mathieu and Nathaniel Tremblay. Oh, no, we've already done that.
No, we've not. That's exactly what we're going to do. The bronze medal matchup for junior junior male category. Sorry.
I'm sure the guys at Nomad Block are psyched for the sunshine on their opening day today. They would have been staring at the weather forecast, thinking that'd be a bit of a miss for opening day, and yet,
yeah, early
beautiful.
On this morning it was actually quite wet, humid, because it had poured a lot yesterday. It was pouring cats and dogs, raining cats and dogs, in Montreal, and so hopefully, you know, the sun that's out there right now has dried the holds a while ago, and they've gotten a first amazing day in the park, climbing on plastic, but outdoors here in Montreal.
Yeah, it's a really cool initiative to be able to have that. You want to go climb and sit outside in the sun. It's a really cool combination. Even here at Alley Up, they have a very small bouldering wall kind of in the back corner. It's a neat environment as well.
And they've got some really tall roots on the silo.
Yes, of course.
On the outside.
On the side of the silo. If you want to come and climb, I don't know, it's got to be 30 meters or something.
It's long, man. You will get pumped. It's longer than the indoor route. That's too long for me, man.
It's too long already. All right. Zachary Mathieu à votre gauche. Nathaniel Tremblay à votre droite. Oh, look at that foot dyno. I didn't notice that from Nathaniel, but Zachary Mathieu
Gets the bronze.
5-1-5. Really cool opening sequence from Nathaniel Tremblay. We missed in his last round. I didn't quite catch that, but look at this. If you don't think that that takes a ton of practice, you are mistaken. That is really, really cool about how that foothold is 4 feet away.
Yeah.
And his leg is in the right place. He leaves the ground with his leg out, and then as he lands on that third hold, his foot comes down. That's very, very, very impressive. As someone that likes to analyze technique, that is, I got to think that is really difficult to get right. And then after all that, Zachary Mathieu just powered straight up, and his middle section was faster.
Absolutely.
So this is going to be blistering. Man Ellis, who's put sub 5 seconds. Ethan Flynn, who's done the same. Two heavy hitters. Let's see this go down. And that is disappointing.
Yeah,
from Ethan.
Not the final you would want.
No, he slipped on the first move. Obviously, the same thing we were talking about before. Put everything into that first move. Knew he had to go faster than he's ever gone to get ahead of Man Ellis.
Two shaking hands, very sportsmanlike.
Man has a look to his right there. He knows he's got a win.
I wonder though if that sort of slight tap strategy is not dangerous. If it doesn't register.
Yes, if you come in too light, pop. That would be disappointing.
Right. All right, so that about does it for the junior category for both the men and the women. And now we are doing the youth B category.
Yeah, so youth B boys starting at 4 p.m.
I've had some timing issues here, folks. But
oh wait, what do we have here? Youth B girls, I guess, are going to go first.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like. We see Emi Takashiba.
So Youth B en général va commencer. We're a little bit behind, but I don't think the athletes mind. The people in the gym, as I say, it's just a nice day here. People are just hanging out. So we were reading an article here a little bit earlier. It's worth talking about. I know a couple of people have brought it up too. Is it time for the speed route to change? It's been the same for 13 years. Designed by Jackie Goodoff almost on a whim. Not really intended to be something with the longevity that it's stuck with. And you were saying that Adam Andra has been relatively vocal about suggesting that post-Tokyo, it's time to reset the speed route.
Right, I think he was a proponent of the earlier format in which at each World Cup you would set a new speed route. And in doing so, it would sort of favor climbers that were obviously very fast, but also climbers that were able to adapt to a new route during that weekend of the comp.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember that from when I was when coaching the juniors at the Youth World Championships. The speed route is just, they just set up somewhere between 5'10 and 5'11, and you climbed it as fast as you could. And the first time we did it, it was, basically on-site speed climbing. And then over the course of the rounds, you dial it in. But it took a long time. It was sort of 20, 25 seconds, 30 seconds to get up a full height wall as fast as you could. And now you're saying, is it time that we change the format? Maybe don't reset it every World Cup. Maybe set it every season, every 2 seasons.
Or maybe between Olympics.
But just between Olympics. So something you and I had discussed, we were hanging out on Saturday. Is 4 years enough time to dial in the speed route? I would argue yes. Some of the athletes that have only started climbing speed in the last couple of years are putting down sub 6 seconds on a 15-meter wall. So yes, in 4 years between Olympics, you could have progressively increasing times on that route. Maybe someone that's a proponent for basically saying, hey, a world record's a world record. You got to leave it standing. You can't just reset the bar every time. But
Yeah.
how much more interesting is it to see who is better, as you say, at adapting to a new route and developing? Can you get a sequence or a technique that works for you that you get to work out?
Yeah,
Every time.
it's like in lead climbing. I mean, you're always adapting from one comp to another. In bouldering, you're doing this as well. Is someone like Reza Alipour, who's got the world record for climbing the speed wall? Are you saying he can't adapt with the skills and the power that he has to a new route in a 4-year period?
Of course he can.
I
right?
think
Of
so.
Course. I would have no. Ooh, Emmy with a slip, but then a quick recheck from Chenko.
Yeah, Yurchenko, Anastasia, and wow, both of them sort of stumbled out at the beginning, and yeah, it seems Emmy was able to sort of regroup and continue at a faster pace.
Yeah. How to look down and put a toe just to be absolutely sure.
So now we've got 8th seed Maki Kochi, who is going to go head-to-head with Sofiane Bertrand. But actually, Maki had a flight to catch.
Yep.
So will not be participating. So Sofiane will partake in this round alone just to set a time.
Get an extra round of practice in.
And we've seen other climbers refuse that opportunity. Nathanael Tremblay in the junior boys category. But Sofiane choosing to use this to get ready for the next round. Alors bravo à Sofiane qui va affronter Emi Takashiba, ça c'est sûr, dans la prochaine ronde de 8.
Avec un temps de 10 secondes, c'est pas mal. 10 secondes dans cette catégorie-ci, les juvéniles B, à 10 secondes, c'est assez vite pour cette mur.
Oui. Et là, on va voir Tula Sherkat de la Colombie-Britannique qui va affronter Léa Latour. Alors, so Tula was 4th seed out of the qualifiers and Léa 13th. Wow.
That's pretty quick.
Tula just, I think, executing everything perfectly.
Yep, coming in 8.4 is a time that would put her in contention right now in the Youth A field. So that's good stuff from Tula.
Yep.
We have Mina Edwards against Leah Fierigos.
See, she opting for the dyno that skips the third to last hold.
It just looked like, just looking at Tula, it looked really well rehearsed.
Yes. Yeah, that's well said, Phil. It looked like that's something that she has practiced many, many, many times.
So Mina Edwards versus Leah Fierigos. Fierigos.
Two times sub 10 seconds.
Mina Edwards
with the win.
For our next race, we have Mia Jinx against Sienna Marr.
Donc Mia Laprise contre Sienna Marr.
It's interesting, you just see on the corner of your screen there's a judge's camera pointed at the foot pedal. So maybe that's when they're, if they need to review a false start, they can look at the foot leaving the foot pedal. This is quick stuff.
Yeah.
Just 8 seconds. Sienna Mara with a bit of a slip in the middle.
Yeah. Mia looked really strong through a run. Donc Mia Laprise qui va continuer à la ronde de 8.
Very efficient through here. So Sienna doing that dyno to skip the move outright, but then not able to get her feet under her quick enough to come out with a win.
So next race will just feature Alexandra Smith, I believe, unless she decides not to run because 10th seeded Tara Pievich is apparently injured.
I just saw a man Ellis walk by with all his fingers taped. So that's, as we were saying, how much skin do you have left? That was his preventative maintenance for the speed round. Every single digit taped up to make sure they stay intact.
So Alexandra Smith, like Sofiane Bertrand a bit earlier, will be doing this one alone.
Une ronde pratique. Assez vite encore.
Oui. 9,91 pour Alexandra Smith, who's going to face off against Mia Laprise in the round of 8.
Our next race, we have Tegan Chow against Lauren
We can. I don't think you can hear, but we can hear. But we can hear Marco in the background just carving his way through some of these names that he's seeing for the first time, and
which is bringing
that
a smile to Lauren.
To Lauren's face. That was he triple clutched that.
Yeah. So Lauren Larbelessier, I believe, against Tegan Chow.
Tegan getting ahead to a good start here, moving well through the middle of the route as well, hitting that dyno. That's a good time from Tegan.
Yeah.
And Phil, we commentators cursed the weather. It was like nothing but bright sunshine out the window that we can see, and now the trees are blowing and the sky is dark gray. So it's not just restricted to making athletes fall on routes. Apparently, we've ruined Montreal's sunny day.
That's, I mean, is there nothing that commentators can't curse? Is this what we're intended to understand?
I'm going to guess no at this point. Sorry,
the power of the commentators.
So how do we reverse that?
So Heather Mutter against Sofia Bada.
Oh, dear. Sofia just missing the first move, and Heather's going to ensure that she gets a top. So that...
Yeah.
An unfortunate slip on the first move, going for it all.
Yeah.
Moving on to the Youth B-Boys.
Youth B-Boys. Donc, le premier affrontement, on le voit tout juste à la gauche de l'écran, Dylan Le, qui va affronter Vincent Lapointe. Donc, Dylan a qualifié premier dans cette catégorie juvénile B. Alors, Dylan qui nous a démontré des talents en en voie. Et aussi en bloc un peu plus tôt cette année à Bloc Shop au championnat junior de bloc. Alors, vraiment un grimpeur accompli dans les 3 disciplines, là. On verra s'il est capable de monter sur un podium pour une 3e fois dans une 3e discipline aujourd'hui.
On va voir.
Seeing some of the senior open athletes getting ready up on the bouldering wall.
Warming up top. Oh, they
And
both sort
Dylan
of,
just slipped up, but then
that's a good time.
put it into 5th gear.
Absolutely. He skipped 3rd and 4th. So that's a good example that some of the younger athletes, the first 3 moves are really quite difficult, and then the middle of the section of the route, they get quite fast.
For our next race, we have Logan Geisler against Matthew Rodriguez.
Logan Geisler against Matthew Rodriguez. We're off.
Oh, unfortunately, a slip from Logan.
Yeah, and actually earlier down it was Matthew who sort of had a little stumble.
Yep.
But as you mentioned earlier, Pete, you know, never say never, never quit. So you can recover from that. It might not be your best speed run, but you can still win.
It's enough. Kind of like that about the head-to-head is that, you know, contrary to all the other disciplines in which you need to best the route, essentially, amongst other participants, every single time you just have to beat the person beside you. And if you don't have a great run, but they also don't have a great run, then you just have to be good enough. Not every run has to be a world record-setting run. You know, people win the 100 meters well below personal bests even because everyone's having that kind of day. So in the speed run, you just have to keep it together. You have to keep it together for 4 rounds after qualifying and basically just, this is
Adrien Lévesque à gauche contre Jérémy Blais. Alors Adrien qui
assez vite. That's the best
Ouais.
time we've seen. 6.6.
Yeah, Adrien really il a fait une super belle course. Comme on disait un peu plus tôt de d'autres compétiteurs, ça semblait très très bien exécuté et que c'était déjà une chorégraphie bien rodée de son côté. So, Cooper McDonald versus Tyson Guzman.
Oh,
Tyson Guzman storming with the lead.
moving very well.
The winner is Tyson Guzman.
Cooper not quite getting it dialed in on the first 2 moves and then just unable to catch up. See, he has a bit of a reach and a reset required. And that was enough to put him behind.
Now we'll have David Tremblay to the left against Benjamin Chapman to the right.
You see David Tremblay also doing that big left foot move at the start, skipping that starting the second foothold, electing to go big right off the bat.
Next, we have Mikey Geller against Oscar Baudin.
So Mickey Gillett against Oscar Baudin. So Oscar, if you've been watching the feed this weekend, had some tremendous climbing done in the lead finals and came out on top.
Yeah, absolutely. This really put down a great performance yesterday. Just look at the size difference in this age category. That's a great example of it right here.
Yeah.
This is what you have to deal with. You're coming through the youth. Everybody grows at a different rate. However, not by any means representative of how fast you can climb. See what Oscar can do here.
And he does a Tomoa beta and storms to the top.
Sub 7 seconds, and Mickey slipped. Oscar kept it together.
Ian Tan.
Mathis Embeau à votre droite. Ian Tan is your third place qualifying time. We don't have the times in front of us from their qualifiers, so otherwise we'd be filling you in, but it's not on the lists we were given. But suffice to say, I imagine it's going to be close to 8 seconds, given the time some of these guys have put down. Ian Tan under 7. Under 7 with a slip, Phil.
Yep. Solid by Ian Tan.
For our last race, round of 16, we have Owen Boston against DJ Foley.
Next matchup, Owen Clouston versus TJ Foley. TJ came in second yesterday for lead.
I'm sure we'd love to add another medal to his nationals pile.
Yeah. Really good all-around climber.
Yeah, agreed. He's been a fixture on the youth bouldering circuit as well, as much as you can be a fixture in 4 years of climbing.
Well, it means he's getting as much competition experience under his belt.
This one's going to be close. TJ Foley almost caught him at the end. Owen Clouston keeping his composure, never relinquishing the lead.
Yeah, and that's it for the round of 16 here.
He gets ahead with that dyno where TJ has to go a bit shorter and then full speed ahead but unable to catch up.
So we'll be moving on to the Youth B girls for the round of 8. The first matchup, you can just see her to the left of the screen, is Amy Takashiba, and she'll face off against Sofiane Bertrand.
All right, moving on to the round of 8. Our first race for the UP girls. We have Amy Takashiba against Sofiane Bertrand.
So Sofiane didn't have a chance to race in the round of 16, but this is her time to execute. Elle affronte Emi Takashiba qui a très bien fait aussi en voie, en difficulté hier, puis qui est aussi classé en première position après les qualifs. Alors, Emi semble être celle à battre dans cette catégorie.
Emi with the early start and managing to stay ahead all the way to the finish. The Sophosaurus with a good run, just came up against somebody faster.
That's another Sophosaurus.
Agreed. I mean, why not, right? Tula Shurkat against Mina Edwards. Tula on your left. A couple of BC athletes. I'm sure they have trained speed head-to-head more than a few times over the last year or so.
I noticed they had the sort of same choreography, the same choice in movements and sequence.
Mm-hmm.
So you might be actually absolutely right and may well be coached by the same person.
Speed coach, yeah. And have probably spent some time on the 15-meter wall in Victoria. Oh, a false start. Just to dial up the pressure a little bit further. You're allowed 1, but not 2.
Yeah, and this is to determine an all BC semifinal matchup against Emi Takashiba. So.
All right, so we're not sure who false started, but you might see one of these two take off just a fraction of a second later to avoid that second false start. Both making sure.
Oh,
a small slip.
Mina Edwards just tripping out, and Tula racing to 8.93 finish. And Tula progresses.
So very similar time, 8.4 in the round before that, so maybe just a little bit slower from the false start. And then knowing that she was ahead, just make sure you get to the top. This brings us Mielat Prise on the left and Alexandra Smith on the right. Mielat Prise, je crois, grimpe au Horizon Rock.
Ça se peut, je ne suis pas au courant, mais elle avait l'air très très forte, très rapide. Pas quelqu'un qui était inexpérimenté, disons, Pete. Et la voici à gauche, alors elle repart très rapidement comme dans sa course précédente.
Oui, absolument.
Et 7,6, wow.
Assez vite encore de Mielat Prise. Climbed in a final yesterday, so also somebody with multiple discipline prowess.
Very true.
Up next, we have Tegan Chow against Heather Muller.
Tegan Chow on your left from BC, and Heather Muller on your right, I think from Gravity in Ontario. Mutter. My apologies, Heather Mutter. I read those T's as L's.
Yeah, she looks like she's out of Gravity Climbing Gym.
She had somebody do some liquid chalk handprints on her shoulders there. A little war paint. See if that makes a difference.
Oh, and
slipped and wasn't able to recover. I mean, it is a big move. It's not super easy to piece it back together. So Tegan able to slow up and make sure. So an unfortunate slip from Heather. Should be disappointed with that for sure.
And that's it for the round of 8. For the Youth B girls, we'll be switching over to the Round of 8 for the Youth B boys. So a slip and you're out, almost, unless your competitor slips up. You know
exactly. And the margins are very, very, very slim. Just because the times are slower in the younger age categories doesn't mean that the margins are greater. So margins to win are very small. So you need to be trying to push for tenths of seconds, and that means that every now and then you're just going to overshoot.
So first matchup, Dylan Le against Matthew Rodriguez. And these
Boys, our first race for the round of 8, we have Dylan Lee against Matthew Rodriguez.
See, Taya Chapman beside us is running like 4-meter wind sprints to try and get her body warm just before the start of the junior round, or the open round, my apologies.
Yeah.
So similar to the way we ran the finals for Roots is that if you qualified with a time that gets you into the open, you also reclimb speed in the open as well as from your category. So you can win your age and you can win open if you're in junior or A. Really good start from Dylan on your left.
Oh, wow.
With a 5-second time. I think that's the best we've seen so far out of the Youth B boys.
Absolutely. You know, and this replay shows that, you know, Dylan, his hips don't move too much to the left, don't move too much to the right. He's keeping, you know, one direction, and that's going straight to that that plate to slap the time.
Yeah, it's conservation of movement. If you are a fan of track and field at all and you watch the speed sports, you watch the sprinters, they work very, very hard to have almost no lateral shift in any part of their body. So everything is directed in applying force on the ground to move in as straight a line as possible. They don't take swinging steps. They don't swing their shoulders. They move their arms, but they don't lose any forward moving momentum. So exactly what you're saying is the same thing here.
So Adrien Lévesque contre Tyson Guzman, et Adrien
Adrien qui gagne avec 6.6. David Tremblay, de local de Allez, puis Oscar Baudran à la droite.
So usually climbers will have a specific set of shoes for speed. You don't want to have your edging shoes on, Pete.
No, and you don't want your downturned toe shoes on either. You're slamming your feet down on those holds. You got to work your way in. You see, I think David Tremblay is actually wearing socks over there. You don't need to have precision. You just need to feel good.
Oscar doing the Tomor Narasaki Beta, and
really
wow,
good
this
stuff.
is a good
It's going to be
race.
close, and I think David Tremblay just got ahead at the end. David Tremblay with a serious come from behind run.
Interesting, because I think he put it all in a dunk and used his longer arm span to.
Oscar ahead right here, and then you see.
Oh wow!
Yeah, Oscar almost has to make an extra half move because he's significantly shorter, and David Tremblay was able to just wind up and, as you say, make a slam dunk to the finish.
Yeah, and that was one of those races where you needed the replay to see what exactly had happened. But when we have the World Cups in speed, you always need the
replay. It's over before it starts, basically.
Which is why, a lot of people have said, like Adamandra, make the route harder or make the route longer.
Yeah, make it take a little bit more time. maybe have it be 8 or 9 seconds.
Right,
It's
because
still fast.
even the 100-meter dash is, I mean, it takes at least 10 seconds.
9:79.
Right. Exactly.
So it's not like a 10-second race is too long. Yeah, you're not talking about the marathon.
No.
That's an interesting perspective. Is they make it taller or make it a little bit harder, and the whole point is that it's head-to-head, so you still just have to be faster regardless. So Ian Tan on your left, who got off to a blistering start regardless of the slip from Owen. He kept his head down and kept powering out. So we've seen that a few times. A lot of the slips have come on the very first move, and I think that's from people going for that gotta push that extra 1/10 of a second or so. And you see his hand, Owen just kind of misgrabbed that third left handhold. Unfortunately left him swinging on the end of the rope instead of touching the buzzer. So that brings us to our semifinal. Emi Takashiba and Tula Shurkat. A couple more BC climbers. Emi on the left and Tula on the right.
So,
Battle of BC.
yeah, to get a spot into the big final.
Good start from Tula. Emi.
Oh, but both of them sort of froze.
And then Emi manages to keep it together. Showed some composure there in not panicking after that initial slip. So that'll put Tula in the bronze medal round and Emi in the gold medal round. So a slip there, and then Tula catching up, but not quite fast enough.
Nope, unfortunately, but Tula will be able to fight for the bronze medal. So we'll be happy to see her again.
Ami à la prise, à votre gauche. Tegan Chow à votre droite.
Oui, mis à la prise jusqu'à présent, s'est montré très déterminé.
Oui, elle fait des moins de 8 secondes, 7,6 juste avant de ça. Donc elle a démontré qu'elle est assez vite sur
Absolument.
la mur de 10 mètres. Et Mia continue de démontrer sa vitesse. Encore plus vite.
Ouais,
7,5 je pense.
absolument. Alors, mis à la prise va affronter Emi Takashiba dans la grande finale. Alors, ces courses sont pour déterminer, en fait, qui se retrouvera dans la grande finale. Alors, on a une demi-finale 100% québécoise ici à Allez avec Adrien Lévesque qui sera à droite, qui affrontera Dylan Le à gauche. Et puis, en fait, Dylan a l'air d'être vraiment dur à battre
Oui, la
dans
plus
cette
vite.
compétition.
Oui, absolument.
Fait un chrono de 5,06 dans la ronde précédente. Adrien est rapide aussi. Il a fait 6,6. Mais
Ça, c'est une seconde de différence.
voilà. Alors, si Adrien veut l'emporter, il va falloir qu'il monte son niveau d'un cran ici, là.
Demi-finale. Non. Un petit problème avec la technologie.
Oui.
C'est pas grand-chose. Donc, le commencement, c'est exactement la même chose chaque fois aussi. C'est pas une personne qui dit 1, 2, 3, go. C'est la technologie, c'est les beeps. C'est absolument, exactement la même. Le timing, c'est exactement la même chose. Donc, tu peux pratiquer donc, ton commencement, votre timing de beep, beep, beep. Good start from both of these two. Wow, Dylan Lay.
5.02. Alors,
Encore plus vite.
ne cesse d'effacer des secondes et des fractions de secondes plutôt au chrono ici, Dylan Lay. Alors, il se mérite une place dans la grande finale.
Il se mérite une place dans la grande finale avec les juvéniles A aussi, je pense.
Oui.
C'est le chrono assez vite pour les gens. Donc, on juste va chercher. On a les gens qui paient comme 4,4.
Ouais.
C'est juste une demi-seconde moins vite que les garçons plus âgés. Une bonne future s'il continue comme ça.
Absolument. Il est bien parti, en tout cas. Dylan a de quoi être fier, même s'il n'a pas encore fait la grande finale aujourd'hui, mais il a de quoi être fier de sa saison. A démontré vraiment un bon niveau dans toutes les compétitions. Alors
Ouais.
ici, on a David
Ian
Tremblay
Tan.
contre Ian Tan.
Oh, Ian était en avance. Il a manqué la pied.
Oh, that's just...
That's disappointing.
Yeah.
I think he had that. And
I
then,
think so too.
His foot, he slapped the wall. That's how he was moving to the finish and didn't get enough momentum out of that foot. Watch here as Ian on your right comes up to the finish. That right foot, I mean, it misses by a third of a hold.
Yeah.
And as we said, those holds are slopers. So if you're not right on the edge, you are not getting a lot of purchase at all. So Ian, unfortunately, with a slip, but was moving very, very well.
Yeah, another factor, Pete, I think, is that, we've had a lot of competitors look at the holds. They're chalked up.
They are chalked.
They've also got some rubber on them from those shoes. So, that's a factor. I mean, the route is not the same as it was earlier in the round.
No, not at all. You're right.
So that's something to keep into consideration as well as we move towards the bronze medal race here for the Youth B ladies.
I'm curious if they are going to brush that round.
I think they will for the open category.
Right, you think they almost have to. It is getting very, very chalked up by this point, as you say, and there's a lot of leftover chalk and boot rubber. It's going to affect some people's timing, perhaps. So just giving the allotted amount of time before the small final. Tula Shurkat
against Tegan Chow.
So, 3 of 4 finalists are from British Columbia, with Mia Laprise ducking in for Quebec representation.
Trying to avoid the medal sweep.
The medal sweep that's been going on since Youth Boulder Nationals.
She will have managed that because
she is in the gold medal round.
Right.
Oh, a good start. Tegan Chow with a better start off the gun. And Tula playing catch up. And that is going to be Tegan Chow. Okay, the gold medal round. Youth B girls.
Yeah, this is going to be a good race.
Yeah, I believe it.
I hope so.
Mia Laprise has been On fire. She hasn't missed yet. She hasn't had a run in which she has misfired.
She's been executing, placing those feet with precision and getting a lot of upward momentum. So she's psyched.
Yeah, you can see it. That's some real focus. Here we go. Oh, a good start from Mia.
And we weren't able to see what happened with Emmy.
She slipped.
But, yeah, that's most probably what happened, Pete.
It's that first move, the first huge move when you're going for everything. You see Mia Laprise still manages to pull down a very good round. Finish that up.
So that's it, folks. That's it for the Youth B ladies.
And I think we're having a relatively short gap. As we get into our small final. Sorry, there's the men still to go. Here's a look at the start.
Oh.
Yes, she missed the foot and then rushed to try and recover. And meanwhile, Mia Laprise a juste continué.
Oui, puis Mia qui a réalisé un chrono de 7.87. C'était pas aussi rapide qu'elle avait réalisé en fait en quart de finale, mais néanmoins un excellent résultat pour elle qui a une performance sans bavure dans cette finale de vitesse.
Et on pense qu'elle était c'est pas la première seed, le deuxième. Donc en qualification, elle a un chrono le deuxième plus rapide. Elle a managed to carry that all the way through to a gold medal. So your small final, bronze medal race here.
Adrien Lévesque against Ian Tan.
Ian Tan, who's looked very, very fast.
Very fast, very efficient. Just had one bad luck at the top of the semifinal route.
Oh, a slip, but oh no. Adrien Lévesque va continuer. Ian Tan going for it all.
Just unraveled a bit for Ian.
Yeah.
So that'll be a sweep for Quebec.
Look at that.
For the Youth B boys.
Youth B boys, les athlètes
all
de Québec.
Québec Podium.
Sur la podium.
Donc, il va y avoir des coachs et des bénévoles ici heureux de ces résultats ici au Québec.
And this is going to be fast. Dylan Le, who has been putting down very, very fast times, and also David Tremblay. So if both of these two put down what they're capable of, we should be in for a bit of a treat here. Here we go. Dylan Le en avance. Oh my goodness. 4.87. So he bests his previous time, puts his best time of the round in the final, which is what you want to do. And unfortunately, David Tremblay slipped at the start.
Yeah, I can't help but think by having seen all those slips that those initial footholds will need a good scrubbing.
Yes.
But that doesn't stop someone like Dylan Le, who's had an amazing performance throughout this speed comp, and shows that the guy can do it all in climbing, in competition climbing.
Completely agree. I mean, he bested his best time by significant almost 0.3 of a second. So that's what you want to be able to do, is improve all the way through. Dylan Le, excellent climbing all weekend and well-deserved gold medal. Bravo Québec pour le podium en vitesse.
Oui, pour la catégorie juvénile B. On va bien préciser là, qu'ailleurs, il y a eu des excellents résultats de plusieurs athlètes, notamment de la Colombie-Britannique.
Donc, on pause pour quelques minutes avant de commencer. Oh, I'm just looking at a head judge here. Paul Ledet, who is maybe just looking like they're getting ready to start right away. No, they're going to brush. So,
Yeah, Marco, part of the route setting team and who's been MC of this speed round.
Yep.
He's getting his harness on, and I think that's precisely what we would have hoped to see, is to get these holds clean again
a proper brush. Okay.
for the open finals that are about to start in a couple of minutes.
So don't go far. And Phil and I will be back momentarily.
All right, folks. We're going to get underway with the Open Women's Finals. Well, actually, the round of 16.
La dernière catégorie de la journée de la vitesse de la fin de semaine.
Et soyez pas surpris ou surprise de voir des compétiteurs que vous avez vus des autres catégories, car il y a plusieurs athlètes juvéniles A ou même juniors qui peuvent s'être rendus en finale. Alors, qui vont pouvoir en fait se mesurer aux athlètes de la catégorie Open.
Absolument, c'est la même chose de difficulté. Donc, juste au commencement, Sophie Valence, qui a supposé d'être contre Caitlin Williams, mais Caitlin qui ne fait pas la course.
Non, c'est ça. Alors, bon, ce sera un réchauffement pour se réactiver pour Sophie Valence, qui, elle, a déjà gagné la médaille d'or. Dans la catégorie junior. And now we get to see Becca Frangos against Yinky Yin. So Becca is a seasoned competitor, and interesting to see what she can do.
This one's going to be close.
Oh, wow.
And I think Yinky's going to just edge ahead of Becca on the last couple of moves there. Geneviève Phipps contre Lestine Passion. Commencement assez rapide de Geneviève.
Oui, Geneviève Phipps ici qui réalise un bon chrono.
7,5 je pense.
Absolument.
Really good work right through the middle of the route here.
Yeah, good contact strength, which is something you need for all the other disciplines. But you need to have that in, just with the dynamic nature of the climbing that is involved here with speed.
Right, so we have Riley Galloway now is going to take her essentially a re-warm-up practice run. Stephanie Chow unfortunately had to catch a flight. So let's Riley practice her start here.
Might not be the same when you're just out there by your lonesome.
No, it's different to ratchet it up, and then she's just getting the muscles moving. Take it as a little extra warm-up.
So Lexi Binder, who actually won in the Youth A category, will be squaring off against Brielle Zacharias, who came in third.
Not sure that they ended up head-to-head in that round in their own category. I don't think they did.
No, they did not, I don't think. They were on different sides of that bracket. Battle of BC climbers.
Good start from Brielle. Manages to maintain that all the way through, coming in under 8 seconds.
Yeah, and Lexi just, she had a hard time finding her footing a bit down low on the route, and this is the first race she's lost today.
Exactly. So I imagine she'll be a little bit disappointed with that, but having already got a gold medal under her belt, so you can't be too disappointed.
Right. Now we have Aurélie Huppé against Mina Lancaster. So Mina's all smiles, but is obviously focused in getting to the starting holds.
Smiles and business.
Right.
This one's close. Aurélie.
Wow.
Storming ahead in the middle of the route. Putting down a good time. Solidifying her bounce back from the fall that she had in the semifinals yesterday.
Yeah. Had us all a bit scared, but it was obviously nothing too bad because she did a really good time right there, 7:71.
Mm-hmm. So we got Babette Roy and Thea Chapman.
Two alley up climbers.
Babette off to a great start. Moving really well here. Good time from Babette.
Yeah, and Babette will want to sort of, she came in second in her category, and she was cupping her face with her hands, and finishing second because she did slip. She was in the lead at the point where she slipped, so she's got a second chance here to get the result she probably wants. And now we have Aspen Hendry and Sophie Buitendijk, the Sophosaurus.
The Sophosaurus. Let's see a nice post from Aspen's father on Facebook about how watching his daughters climb at the same time during the semifinals yesterday was something that they was super, super proud of. So that's pretty cool to get to the way the timing worked out. Good to see both your kids climbing on the wall at the same time at Canadian Nationals.
They got practically up at the same height too, and sort of fell almost at the same time. So, yeah, and I think that's. I'm a parent, and my kids are a bit younger. Obviously, won't be competing in these championships, but that's one day that would be pretty cool.
It would be very cool to watch, and she's off to a good run here.
Yeah, strong finish by Aspen. Just edging out Sophie Buitendijk with 30/10 of a second.
Yeah, needed to keep it together. Sophie stormed through on the last third there. Aspen needed to hold it together to stay ahead.
So just like that, we're done with the open women's round of 16.
Again, we're going to see many of the same climbers. A couple of redemption moments. Jackson, I think, McDonald, who had slipped in his, I'm going to go semi-final if I'm not mistaken. Oh, in the round of 8. So he had put down blistering times, 4.22.
Yeah.
And was disappointed to slip. I think similar to Babette, who did it in the final, though. Jackson will be looking to get all the way through the field this time, putting down the times he's capable of. I don't know that there's too many people who can stand in his way.
Yeah, and that must definitely be in Brandon Barraclough's mind. Brandon is an open competitor, and so
you watch Jackson with that big left foot start. Yeah, absolutely. 4.26. Wow. No mistakes. I mean, Brendan put down a good time himself, sub 6 seconds, but when you're up against the guy that's putting down the best times of the round, There's only so much you can do. Even if you're personal best, you got to come up against this. You are you're in for a tough fight.
Right. And Jackson's resolve must have been, heightened following his disappointment in the previous round. So great way to put that behind you and move on.
Absolutely.
Now we have another open competitor and alley up athlete to the left, Kiefer Vandenbosch. And we have also Cameron Depuis Bissonnette.
And Kiefer, who won speed in his category a couple of years ago. He won open, I think, at Nationals 2 years ago at Kenyon Escalade. So he does spend a lot of time training speed. See what he's up to here.
Opts for the beta where you don't skip the final hold. Oh, and Kiefer doesn't touch
Oh, my goodness. He missed. I think he was a fraction of a second ahead.
And you heard the crowd. They.
I think he thinks, his body language tells me he thinks he touched it.
Yeah.
So he's might ask for a replay here. He's definitely not walking away saying, I'm disappointed. He's thinking, I touched that timer. And Paul Leday's saying, no. A shrug from Kiefer. So we'll get a look at the replay here. Have a good look at Kiefer's finishing move. He's ahead. Oh, and I think he whiffed it. He did this left to right swing instead of the front to back slap.
It doesn't mean that he didn't touch it. It's just he didn't touch it hard enough, right?
Firm enough.
To sort of engage it. And so that's sort of what we were saying about Man Ellis a bit earlier on, who we're going to see once again. He has this sort of light tap technique that he likes to use. And so,
super slow-mo replay. Yeah.
Thanks for that. Sport TV Canada is just
great.
showing us that.
And
yeah, it looks like he's just waxing off, wax on, wax off.
Yeah.
Like that
I don't
kind
think
of
we've
movement.
seen a lot of other athletes doing that. I mean, like I said, he's been doing speed for quite a few years now. So that's not something new that he's trying. It's got to be something that he's used to doing. And we're taking a minute, so maybe he has put an appeal in. I don't know how you appeal that.
Right. Because you would essentially be, your case would essentially be that there's an equipment malfunction.
Exactly, that you touched it and it didn't work. But I can't imagine that you're able to test that in some way.
Well, I mean, if it works afterwards, what's your case?
Exactly.
I don't know.
We can't get close enough unless there's a camera at the top. As you see the judging cameras on the bottom, those little white security cameras that are pointing at the foot pedal. Unless there's one also at the top of the route where they can get a really proper close look. Slow motion replay, we see it in a lot of sports. And in climbing, when you appeal now, they do go back to the footage. They've been recording since as long as I can remember. It used to be on VHS. You had to sit and look at the tiny little LCD screen an inch by an inch to see if somebody stepped on a bolt hole or if they got a plus or a minus on a hold. We've come a long way in terms of technology. I remember sitting in the parking lot as a coach going over an appeal, trying to determine whether or not somebody had done something that they shouldn't have done in a final. But now we've got high technology. But there is definitely some debate being had right now.
And, even though there's technology, and we're seeing it in a lot of sports where there's video replay and at some level of sophistication, it still won't, eliminate these chance, malfunctions or errors. And I'm not saying that's what happened here. So the thing is, the judges and the officials are taking the time to check this out, if it's legitimate. And we'll get news to you as soon as we know what's up.
And it's interesting to note that Kat Belanger, who is one of the head judges here, will have to recuse herself from this decision because that's her son.
That's
so
right.
She can't weigh in on this at all, and she would be one of the more experienced judges, having judged quite a few speed comps in recent memory.
That's right.
So the jury president, Paul Leday, will have a look. I imagine that Sebastian Powell, also a CEC member, they'll be reviewing whatever they can review, and maybe one of them will come and tell us what's up, or maybe they'll forget all about us down here in our booth, and we won't get an update at all.
In the watching the replays, I was so focused on looking at Kiefer's hand that I'm not even sure that if he touched it, he would have beaten Cameron Dupuis-Bissonnette.
Good question. If we actually, the Sports Canada guys, I know they're listening to us, if we can pull that replay up one more time, and just if we can almost freeze it at the moment where Cameron touches the timer, and we'll see where Kiefer's at. It'll be an interesting perspective. They're not sitting beside us, but I can picture them frantically putting that replay back on the screen just on the other side of us. Here we go. Appreciate that. Thanks, guys.
Amazing work.
So Cameron on the right as he comes up here and he hits it. Great slow-mo. Yeah, so he would have been ahead. He definitely would have been ahead had he touched it.
Yep.
Right there.
Yeah, Kiefer would have won.
A fraction of a second. So Kiefer, you can see on the right of your screen, looking with Paul at a tablet.
Meanwhile, you have Alex Fricker and Hugo Valence that are waiting on the sidelines. They've been waiting longer than they were expecting.
Mm-hmm.
They want to stay active and in the moment to be able to
perform.
Right, to get this done.
You see Philippe there with Kiefer. That's his coach. We'll be in there thinking about it. And even closer close-up. So here's Kiefer going. I mean,
from here it looks like he slaps it.
Yeah.
I can't imagine he doesn't get enough purchase on that. So there's reasonable doubt from this replay.
There is. Enough to overturn.
Never a dull moment. So we're moving on, and we'll keep you posted. Obviously, that might mean that Cameron is moving on. So we'll see, and we'll keep you posted. So right now, Hugo Valence against Alex Fricker. Hugo is in the Youth A category, but Alex is an open competitor.
One of the few true open competitors climbing in speed right now.
That's right.
Oh no! So out in front was Hugo Valence.
Stumbled, and yeah, you got to feel for him because that's been 2 races in a row where he's had that happen to him, and
yeah, he had it. And then you see, good resilience from Alex Fricker to just put his head down and keep going. So there's absolutely no give up moment where they say, I'm behind by 3 holds, I'm going to stop climbing. Alex Fricker getting it done by sticking with his program. It's going to bring us 2 of the faster climbers from their Youth A round. Ethan, who slipped in the final, and Zachary Mathieu,
who won the bronze.
And Ethan was absolutely crushing.
Yeah.
Looking good here.
Neck and neck. Oh, and Ethan just pulls ahead in that final stretch to punch his ticket to the round of 8.
I feel that's Zachary putting in a time that was pretty close to his consistent time, and then just coming up against somebody that much faster.
Right. I agree. And, it was a really good performance by Zachary. I mean, his run up until perhaps maybe that last foot placement, which he seemed to have missed, but didn't seem to slow him down too much. Up until that moment, it was a really well-executed run. And now we'll have Brennan Doyle against Jonah Street.
Oh, up to a really good start. And then a slip. Come from behind win, perhaps?
Oh,
No.
Brennan Doyle just
Half.
managing to keep his advantage. But, yeah, Jonah Street was closing the gap. You wonder if on a 15-meter wall.
What would have happened?
Right.
A really good comeback from Jonah.
And, you know, Jonah might be one of those many athletes from the West Coast that's used to the 15-meter wall. And that, you know, might be an issue today for sure. But this is the name of the game. It's an even playing field for everybody.
Yep.
Francis Bilodeau against Aiden Doyle. Aiden will want to also avenge his last round slip. Make amends for it.
Yeah, against Francis Bilodeau, another one of the open athletes.
Yeah, who Francis has done some speed competing on the world stage for Canada at different levels. So not a stranger at all to this course.
Nope. Oh, a false start from
Francis, it looks.
Francis, I believe.
Yeah, he's sort of cringing as he was coming down.
That's why we're just looking, sitting across from us is the Frangos family. Becca with her oversized check.
And Francis just missed his last sort of jump for the target, for the timer, and
Would have been too close to call, I think. They were slapping the wall at the same time. Really good start from Francis. And then Aiden probably using his height to his advantage. But you look here, yeah, they were neck and neck.
And that's going to set up, I think, a brother sort of matchup in the round of 8,
which is
against Brennan Doyle.
Which is awesome.
Yes. You know, they've been sort of competing against one another at home on their home gym or at the wall they have in BC. So
for years.
Right.
A little inter-family rivalry.
So Man Ellis, will he be pressing that target harder after seeing what happened to Kiefer?
Yep.
Yeah, he tapped it harder.
Yeah, and he made a much more distinct move to that hand moving very, very quickly.
Yeah, edging out Matteo Guitard.
I got to think it's that move right there where he skips the left-facing hold. 4.65. Well, not the fastest we've seen. It'd be cool to see him against Jackson or Ethan coming up into the final. Guys who've consistently put in close to 4.5 second times.
And so in this round, it'll actually just be Jeppe Hjermund Lund that will be climbing solo because Ethan Hoffman is out for injury. Hopefully nothing too serious.
Jeppe sans chapeau cette fois-ci.
Ouais, c'est ça.
Peut-être c'est le chapeau, c'est juste un chapeau de demi-finale.
Sait-on jamais, tu sais, ça peut avoir son utilité. Je sais pas si ça rend plus aérodynamique par contre, Pete, là.
It's funny that you say that because the true speed athletes, some of them have been wearing like bicycle shorts.
Right.
Like absolute spandex one-piece bicycle outfits. Spandex in climbing. It's spandex was a part of climbing nearly 30 years ago.
Right.
And has made a shocking recovery on the speed side of the equation.
It has. Especially for the men. I think spandex for the ladies has been there for some time.
Standard.
And Sophie Valence Continuing our strong form.
I think that's a 6-second time, Phil.
I think so. Edging out Yinky Ying.
Again, so her start wasn't as strong, but this move here, skipping the right face, gains her a ton of time. 6.99, sorry. 7-second time. Really good.
So Geneviève Phipps out left against Riley Galloway to the right.
False start, possibly from Geneviève.
It looks like it's Riley's
Well, I thought they
meter was blinking. I don't know.
refocus.
Yeah.
I think next year, Phil, I'm going to ask for a cushion for my chair.
Yeah. Put that on the list.
I might put that on the list.
Yeah, we've Pete and I have been standing by, sitting down. You know, people in the crowd, they can stand up and do what they want, but we have to stay put here. We're not complaining.
Not at all.
This is it's an honor to be able to be a part of this broadcast team and to bring in the action to those of you that are home. So now we've got a really tight race.
Oh, come from behind.
Oh, and 0.3 of a second. Riley Galloway never giving up.
Never giving up.
Wow.
She is excited. Come from behind and just put the hammer down. You see a little skip jump celebration. She is psyched.
Yeah.
I mean, you know in your peripheral vision, you know you're behind. And then right here.
Just giving it all to edge out Geneviève, who had a really strong run as well. So that's the kind of race you want to see. And now we have Brielle Zacharias out left against Aurélie Huppé to the right. Aurélie had a time of 7:71 in the previous round, so Aurélie pulling away.
Yes,
doing really well.
decisively.
Wow.
Still about a half-second slower than what we've seen Sophie Valence put down. But for now, it's enough to get around. You just got to beat the person beside you and keep dialing it up as you come across faster and faster climbers.
So this is a local Quebec matchup. Aspen Hendry to the right, Babette Roy to the left. Babette has been on fire. Aspen Hendry put in a really good race in the round of 16.
Looking focused.
And Babette starts off strong, pulling away.
Yep, making no slips.
6:59.
Babette still all smiles.
Yep.
As you might expect, someone who is
Getting to the
getting to the
semifinals.
semifinal. Yep.
Yeah. That's it for the round of 8. We're back to the open men. And at this point in time, Pete, I'm thinking a lot about the food truck and the poutine.
That's sitting not more than 50 feet away from us.
That's right. Oh, boy.
I'm thinking about the bottle of wine that's waiting for me back at Fred and Chloe's house where I've been spending the weekend. I can picture it sitting on the counter. It's delicious. I've had a few glasses and I know what I'm going home to.
Oh, that's great, Pete. Yep.
We're still with you, toujours avec vous.
Ouais.
La vin de maison va...
C'est pas du notre vin maison, par contre.
Non, pas du tout.
Connaissant Fred et Chloé, c'est sans doute une excellente bouteille. Mais avant la bouteille, il faut finir.
La vitesse, on reste avec vous autres.
Ben oui. Et on a du plaisir, vraiment. Là. Puis moi, c'est une première là, de couvrir une compétition de vitesse. Alors, j'apprends avec vous. On fait des erreurs ici puis là, mais merci d'être aussi fidèle au poste. Wow! Jackson Mack.
Continuing to put down strong runs.
Jax Mack
Jax Mack.
is a beast on this wall.
He kind of pulls ahead right here. Zero hesitation. 4.8.
Alex Fricker against Ethan Flynn pitcher, and you gotta think that Alex has got to get his stuff in a gear because Ethan really has been storming out of the gate since the beginning of this speed comp today.
Un petit faute technical.
Je sais pas de qui.
Non, je pense que c'est l'équipement.
D'accord.
J'ai pas vu la lumière, la feu rouge. Ethan smiling about something. Alex Fricker known for being able to dig deep. Just see if he can dig deep enough. Oh, and now a false start. The drama is mounting between these two.
Ethan's got his game face on. Alex has his always.
Oh, they both slip.
Oh,
wow. So Ethan had to rewind it up at the same time that Alex was. And then Ethan just gathered himself just that little bit faster than Alex was able to. And still put down a 6 and change time.
And it's sort of setting up, Pete, a final before the final, I would feel.
Yes.
Between Jackson McDonald and Ethan Flynn pitcher.
Agreed. Man Ellis on the bottom of the draw is also going to be able to give either of those two guys a run for their money when they get to the final.
That's right, and now we got the brothers Doyle.
Yeah.
So, la lutte fratricide.
Right. Maybe a little trash talk beforehand, maybe not.
Maybe not, maybe after.
Maybe they're just super supportive of each other.
Yeah, I wonder. I know my brother and I would probably be, supportive, but also be doing a bit of trash talk.
Yeah, a little gamesmanship. Good stuff here.
Oh, both executing that Tomoa move, and Brennan
getting it done.
Yep.
Aiden had 1 foot slip in the middle, and that is all it takes. Let's see. Hippe and Man Ellis. Good start from both of these two, and then Brennan just motoring in this section.
Yeah.
Getting his feet up just a little bit quicker.
Jeppe Lund to the right, Man Ellis to the left. And as you can see, Man's hips are squarely, in the middle. Unlike a lot of athletes, he's opting for the direct sort of approach.
Yeah, he's the only athlete we've seen do that. He's the only out of, 16 times. We've seen 70-plus athletes come through here, and he's the only one with that start, and it is absolutely working for him. So really good stuff. Manages to get ahead of Jeppe at the beginning and throw down a 4-6. Even focused still. Not even a smile from Man Ellis, just a nod to his rope holder. Not a belayer, just someone who's plugging them in and out of the system. But right here, a little slip from Yeppe, and I don't even know that without it he would have been able to stick with Man on that run.
No, Man looked unstoppable, and I think his demeanor after that reflects, I think, the level of challenge he believes he's going to have to face against, Brennan Doyle in the next round, but perhaps one of the two of Jackson McDonald and Ethan Flynn pitcher. So right now, Sophie Valence contre Riley Galloway.
Oh! Sophie qui a manqué une prise, puis Riley va continuer jusqu'au final. Sophie va disappointer.
Mais Sophie va toujours pouvoir se battre pour une médaille de bronze dans cette catégorie Open. Et Riley, émotive, qui n'en croit pas en fait ses yeux, se qualifie pour la grande finale.
C'est la même expression d'après le quart de finale aussi de Riley. Il est vraiment heureux de se remplir à ce point.
Super expressive. Puis on aime ça. On aime
Oui.
ça, l'énergie, de la passion en escalade. Ces athlètes se préparent pendant de longues périodes de temps, des mois, des années.
Oui.
Et ils ont vraiment une petite fenêtre d'opportunité pour performer et ils doivent la saisir. Jusqu'à présent, Riley en profite pleinement.
Babette contre Aurélie. Babette, commencement assez vite. 6,5. Babette s'est réussi d'être dans le final encore.
Oui. Tandis qu'Aurélie aura la chance de terminer la fin de semaine avec une médaille. Je rappelle que c'était elle qui nous avait fait une petite frousse hier dans la demi-finale de difficulté. Alors, tout est bien qui finit bien peut-être pour Aurélie.
Oui, absolument. It's safe to say that the result of the appeal did not go in favor of Kiefer.
Right. And I think that's, for me, what I gather from it is you need to touch that target. You need to finish your race off.
Yep, smack that thing.
That's right. And it's like in bouldering, you need to hold the top hold.
In control.
In control.
I feel like you're alluding to controversy from not the Munich, but the previous World Cup.
Yes, I was. You know me, Pete. I don't think it's a top.
No, I agree with you. I don't think that was a top either.
From Kai Harada.
Yeah.
From Japan. Great climber. Amazing climber. But I just don't think he had topped that.
No. So this is the race that we've been looking for since the start of this round, maybe even since the previous round when we knew they were both putting down ridiculous times. Jackson McDonald, Ethan Flynn, pitcher. Cross your fingers for a good race.
It's not going to be a long one.
No.
So don't blink.
Clean start. And it is going to be close. Oh. So a disappointing slip from Jackson. He'll be in the bronze medal fight. Ethan Flynn making it into the gold medal round. Big smile. So Jackson is ahead at this point, and that's the left foot slip.
Yep.
And even there, a right foot slip from Ethan still puts down a 5.2.
Second semifinal here. Brennan Doyle versus Man Ellis.
Still looks as focused as he did when he came down from his semifinal, or from his quarterfinal.
So, first spot in the big final.
Great start from both. This is close.
Oh my God.
I think that's Jackson.
Brennan Doyle, he
Brennan
got
Doyle.
it with man's slip just at the end.
An otherwise fantastic run from Man Ellis. Get a good look at the start.
Yeah,
He's moving very clean. Where's that slip?
it's just right
Right
here.
there.
Yeah, on that smear that has served him so well.
Yeah.
Thus
7
far,
hundredths of a
yeah.
second. And it's worth noting that that move is a smear. It's a smear setup to the last move. People slip smearing when they're climbing slowly.
Yeah,
So
and the nature of the move is that you need to apply just the right pressure and, you know, have that friction there on the wall. And there is friction there, but as you can see, there are a lot of, rubber marks. So that affects, obviously, the friction. I mean, it's not an excuse or anything, but, you have to really put the right amount of pressure in a very short amount of time
exactly.
for yourself to be successful. And unfortunately, Man Ellis slipped at the last moment before ending his run.
And you got to imagine, I mean, that's a factor of the pressure, right? So he knows he's up against arguably the second fastest climber of the round. So if he doesn't push the envelope, he's behind. So full effort.
Absolutely. And this is our bronze medal race for this Open Women's Finals. So Aurélie Huppé to the right, Sophie Valence to the left.
It's go time
for the bronze.
Good start from both of these two.
Yeah, Sophie storming away.
And just pulled away in the middle. Médaille bronze pour Sophie Valence.
Et quand même un très bel effort de la part d'Aurélie et beaucoup de résilience même d'être de retour ici à Allez après sa chute hier. Alors je crois qu'elle aura appris de tout ça et elle va en grandir. Mais ce qui est certain, c'est qu'elle a très bien compétitionné ici en fin de semaine et puis ce n'est que le début de sa carrière.
See lots of extra chalk on Babette from the two-hand slap.
Numerous two-hand slaps will
Yep.
have you with a bit of chalk on your face.
Exactly, for the gold. Babette off to a good start. Riley playing catch-up. Babette's going to take it home.
And Babette sort of avenges her fall earlier on and is your gold medalist for the open category in these 2019 Speed Championships.
Throwing down a 6.6.
And that's the medal she wanted, and the crowd here at Allez is behind her. She's the local climber.
Oh, it looked like Riley got caught up on, I mean, it's the rope officially, but on the auto belay strap.
Right, and that's also another factor. It's always in your face, right?
Yeah.
Other than the moment you put it to the side, perhaps if you want to start off that way. But, yeah, there's so many different things to consider and to coordinate with. And we're down to our last two races, folks. Hope it's been a blast for you, just as much as it's been for us. It's been a long weekend of high-level Canadian competition climbing. And
but watch Riley on the left here on the replay and see the moment in which the cord gets caught right there.
Yeah,
it ends up under her hand.
That's right. Thanks for the replay Sports Canada TV.
See that anything and everything is a factor when you're doing speed.
Comes down to minutiae.
So they're just waiting to give the climbers their maximum minimum 5-minute rest between rounds before we do our small final. Man Ellis contre Jackson MacDonald. So Man Ellis would like to bring a medal home. I think he wishes he was in the big final, but
really fast climbers.
Yeah.
So this is for the bronze medal, but it could have been
for the gold.
for the gold.
Yeah, any one of these four could have shuffled that order and it would have been a surprise at all. Coyote Rock Gym athlete, one of the oldest gyms in Canada. Ooh. Just ratchet up the drama a little bit.
Why not?
Why not? So I'm sure I wouldn't be surprised if Jody Mial, the owner of Coyote Rock Gym, wasn't watching. See his athlete in the bronze medal.
Yeah, and Yves Gravel, who is just a powerhouse and is part of the coaching staff, is here.
Oh, and a false, no, not a false start.
Oh my God.
Slip. I thought it was a false start on the left. Man Ellis with a slip at the top, and that would have been close.
Yeah.
And so Jackson.
He's the directed Man Ellis.
Yeah,
It's
agreed.
unfortunate.
We'll get a look at it here. I thought I heard the buzz, but no, just a really good start.
And yeah, it seems like Jackson had missed the follow-through foot sequence after doing the Narasaki skip, if I can use that term. But he recovered, and at the same time,
Man had a foot slip.
Yeah.
Just missed that crucial dyno foot, which is a high-risk move. And that brings us to our gold medal round, for the last of the speed open men. Ethan Flynn pitcher, Brennan Doyle.
The last bit of climbing of these championships
Yep.
here at Allez.
In what has been an excellent weekend, Phil.
I've had fun.
Well organized. Good
Very
energy.
well organized, yeah.
So a bit of a silence falls over the gym for this gold medal race. And here we go. It's close. It is close. I think that's Brennan Doyle.
Brennan Doyle is your 2019 Open Men's Champion in speed.
And Ethan Flynn there, it almost looked like he just kind of almost ran out of gas on the last pull. They were so close. We'll see what happens here when he makes that last move to the buzzer. He's ahead here just barely. And then
they're neck and neck for...
And then right here he looks ahead and he kind of has a half touch where Brennan essentially skips a move. So, that'll do it, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep. We'll have the podiums presented shortly. So if you want to stick around to see that, stay with us.
I don't imagine it'll take very long till they get it sorted out.
So we were seeing some sub 5-minute efforts throughout this this competition, which is really fast. I mean, I remind everybody this is a 10-meter wall, and that the world record in speed is 5:83 for the 15-meter wall. Be interesting to see what the world record is for this 10-meter setup.
I don't know that they have one. I think that becomes a local or a national decision to run your championships on the 10-meter wall. I'd be curious if we're keeping track, and if we aren't, maybe now's the time to start keeping track of the 10-meter times, just because that is the majority of the opportunities to record times. As we were saying earlier, there's only a handful of 15-meter walls across the country. So these finals are on a 10-meter wall. The Kenyon finals are on a 10-meter wall. Next year, if finals for Lead and Speed goes out west again, we will have a couple of gyms that do have 15-meter walls available. But yeah, I'd be very curious to see if we maintain those times. But nonetheless, 4.2, 4.3, 4.4, those are blisteringly fast times over
Absolutely.
10 meters.
And you just saw the level of execution, the choreography, as we alluded to, the specific movements and holds that were skipped.
And the variability in that. It's not, there isn't one perfect way to do that.
Yeah, there are different body types, right? Different preferences, different beta that, suit different people. So at the end of the day, it's choosing what's good for you, sticking by it, and executing that to perfection. And that's what was necessary, and that's exactly what Brennan Doyle did.
All right, so we're going to chill out and wait for the podiums to come up. We'll join you back in a minute.
All right, folks. Thanks for hanging in there.
On va faire les podiums de vitesse à
Yeah.
Juvenile B.
Commencer avec les dames. Donc en troisième place, Tegan Chow de la Colombie-Britannique. In second place, also from BC, Emi Takashiba.
And then busting up the BC sweep.
Yep, Mia Laprise, qui a super bien grimpé en vitesse et même en difficulté hier. Alors, elle retourne avec le titre de la championne dans la catégorie juvénile B.
La catégorie juvénile B. Les garçons, la B-Boys.
C'est le podium québécois dans cette catégorie.
En troisième place, Adrienne Lévesque, qui vient de Québec. Et en deuxième place, second place, David Tremblay, aussi du Québec. Et votre champion, putting down crazy times all the way through the round, Dylan Lay. Donc, une podium totalement française.
Oui. 100% québécois sur le podium. Alors, bravo aux garçons de la catégorie juvénile B. Et Dylan qui, comme on l'a mentionné plus tôt, là, va avoir quand même pas mal de médailles à la maison,
Ouais.
étant donné ses performances tant en difficulté qu'en vitesse et en bloc. Fait que, il va falloir qu'il trouve de la place pour toutes ces médailles.
Donc, juvénile A, les filles. In third place, en troisième place, on a Brielle Zachariah. En deuxième place, on a Babette Roy, la locale. And your champion, votre champion, Lexi Binder from British Columbia. So also climbed really well through both rounds. Well-deserved podium finish for Lexi Binder, Babette, and Brielle. La photo classique.
Oui. Regroupé sur la plus haute marche du podium. Un bel exemple de l'esprit sportif qui règne entre les athlètes ici. All right, so for the Youth A boys, well, in third place from Alberta, Ben McDonald.
Really, he was the most excited to be winning races.
That's right. In second place, Hugo Valence, who had a really strong competition. He just had a slip there in the final.
And run up against Ethan Hoffman.
Yeah, Ethan Hoffman, who was a beast as well. So there's your podium. Ethan Hoffman for the win for the Youth A boys.
And a half-hearted effort to do the top step photo.
Yeah,
They don't do as good of a job.
that's right. Boys, like, they keep their space a bit more,
They
you know.
do keep their space a bit more.
They're like conscious of their stees or whatever.
Conscious of their armpit smell, I'm gonna guess.
Yeah, perhaps.
So your junior women, the junior in third place, Sophie Butendijk. So good representation here across the board from British Columbia. In second place, en deuxième place, on a Yinky Ying qui vient d'Ontario.
Ouais.
Et votre champion in first place, Sophie Valence.
Sophie Valence. Alors, Les deux frères et sœurs Valence repartent avec des médailles, mais Sophie monte sur la plus haute marche ici, alors qui est la championne pour la catégorie junior. Et du côté des hommes, for the boys in the junior category, we'll be stepping that podium up in just a second. There again, a very representative podium. So in third place, Zachary Mathieu from Délire in Quebec. So it's very consistent in his speed runs.
Mm-hmm.
Almost no faults from Zachary, so bravo. And one of the most explosive climbers we saw on the speed wall today, Ethan Flynn Pitcher. Man Ellis, who's won his category. So good job to the junior boys.
Et on va finir avec la catégorie ouverte, the open category. So this is a combination of junior, youth A, and open athletes in that round for speed. With all of your champions coming from the younger categories.
Right. Giving them open climbers something to think about. But also, you know, I wonder if the fact that they had been racing a good part of the afternoon had them in better spirits,
warmed up,
or
maybe,
a little bit more warmed up. I don't know.
Sophie Valence in third place. The big check. The open side gets to take home money. It's a reason to be competing on the open side.
That's right.
In second place, en deuxième place, on a Riley Galloway.
Yeah, Riley was ecstatic when she won her place into the big final.
And then came up against the immovable force of Babette Roy, votre champion de vitesse in the open women's category. So, félicitations à toutes les femmes ici pour bien jouer en vitesse cette fin de semaine.
Will there be that? Yeah, they'll do it with the checks anyway.
Yeah, of course. They'll make it work. There they go.
Great stuff from
like
the girls.
It's good to see. I love the big checks. I think that is an excellent addition to Canadian sport climbing is the big checks.
Yeah.
Why not? Golf can do it, we can do it.
And our last podium of the weekend. So Jackson McDonald from BC, who's also a speed demon, got into third place. And he edged out Man Ellis for that last spot on the podium. So, there was some tough competition in this open speed category.
Absolutely. And I think Jackson put down the best time of the round, but wasn't able to put down the best time of the round in his semifinal.
That's right. So in second place, Ethan Flynn Pitcher, and then the crowd is letting Brennan Doyle know they appreciated his performance in the final. And that's your last podium, folks, for these lead and speed nationals here at Allez. Pete, I think I'd take a moment here to thank the sponsors. Obviously, Climbing Escalade Canada for being behind this, organizing this with Allez. But we've got the MEC as the title series sponsor, the Government of Canada, la Ville de Montreal, la Province du Québec, Dimension Volumes, Kilter Grips, Black Diamond, Friction Labs, Sterling Ropes, Bon Vivant et la Fédération québécoise de montagne et d'escalade. Alors, un grand merci à ces commanditaires qui ont répondu présent pour faire en sorte qu'on ait une compétition d'une aussi grande qualité ici à Allez, Pete.
Absolument. Et on remercie toujours Allez, tous les bénévoles d'Allez, tous les ouvreurs, l'équipe qui travaille au gymnase ici au Allez, et aussi
les assureurs.
Les assureurs, en tout cas, les assureurs ont fait un grand travail cette fin de semaine. unbelievably good work from the belayers this weekend. Not something you can lose focus on. You have to pay attention all the time. The safety of the athletes is at the forefront. So long days and really good work from all the belayers. We thank the judges, of course, all the volunteers. Phil, merci à vous.
Oui, ben merci à toi, Pete, aussi. C'est vraiment un plaisir de collaborer avec toi. Puis je pense que on souhaite que ça se poursuive, évidemment. Mais merci au CEC pour leur confiance en nous. On a eu beaucoup de plaisir.
Oui, absolument. I had a great time. And Sports Canada TV, really, really good work all weekend long, bringing you some really good action, some good footage, some great replays.
Absolutely.
And not much else to say, Phil. That wraps it up for the 2019 Lead and Speed Championships here at Allez, Quebec. We're not going anywhere anytime soon. We're going to keep bringing you live streams of the major events in Canadian climbing. So it'll be a little bit till you see us again. But we hope to join you guys on and around this time next year. Youth Bouldering Nationals, Open Bouldering Nationals, and Lead and Speed Nationals l'année prochaine.
Oui, c'est un rendez-vous, les amis. Merci et bonne soirée.
Thanks, everybody. Had a good time hanging out. See you next time.